Hello, everybody, and welcome into this Friday night edition of Chapman Men's Lacrosse here at Ernie Chapman Stadium versus the Minnesota Gophers. I am your play-by-play commentator, Josh O'Feiners, along with my color commentator, Alejandro Flores. Alejandro, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. It's a Friday night, primetime matchup, and two teams who know each other very well. I mean, you have the Chapman Panthers who went into Minnesota last year. Made themselves pretty comfortable in their home.
Oh, they certainly did. They won by a whopping 24-2, a 22 positive goal differential for them there, as that was such an amazing game. And this is a new game, a new season for these two teams, and we're going to toss it down to the third member of our broadcast crew, our sideline reporter, Annie Gelfer. Annie?
Thank you, guys. I'm Annie Gelfer, and I'm going to be sideline reporter for this awesome game. It's going to be, as I said, awesome because of what you guys said. There's going to be a matchup between the Chapman Panthers and the Minnesota. Chapman actually beat them last year, which you guys mentioned, and I think that's going to be super exciting. Hopefully they can do that over again, and we can see another Chapman win. Back to you guys up there.
Thank you very much, Annie, for that. Annie is going to be covering everything down on the field and give her expert analysis from down there. But we have two teams to go over here today, the Panthers and the Gophers, and we're going to go over how each of them can win this game.
Well, yeah, remember, we mentioned the Chapman Panthers went into Minnesota, handled them pretty well, but this is two completely different teams now. You have a Minnesota team who's been lighting up the league offensively. 72 total points, 23 assists. Now, points in lacrosse counts for both the scoring and the assists as well. So that's the total accumulation of the entire offense. Now, when you look at Chapman Panthers, though, where they have the advantage is on defense. Bollinger, the goalie, 37 saves. Their midfielders stifling on the inside, able to close in on attackers. So this is going to be really a game here of an immovable force versus an unstoppable force. And let's see who wins this battle.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a close battle there indeed. And if you are the Gophers, as you've been talking about for the Panthers sort of defense here, who are some players that are going to try to penetrate through that wall?
Yeah, well, for the Gophers, obviously, there's two key players that stand out to me like really high above the rest, and it's also because of how good Minnesota's defense is. So the first player that stands out to me the most is the attacker for Minnesota, number 9. Let's bring up his graphic right here. Here he is, number 9, Owen Carlson, attacker from Minnesota. So as an attacker, you can't cross the midfield. So his job, strictly offense. His goal is to get goals. And you know what? He gets them very damn well. 10 goals on the season, 3 points per game, 2 assists as well. So for someone who favors offense, specialty only, 10 goals on the year to start off, very impressive. Someone that the Panthers have to look out for and have to contain. Also someone else I want to look out for. Minnesota is their midfielder, number 33. Let's bring him up right now. Adam Millett, midfielder. So midfielders, they get to transition both to defense and offense, right? You get to play both sides. But Millett, you can tell, emphasizes his offensive game a lot more. 8 goals from a midfielder this early in the season, extremely impressive. What that does, though, is the Panthers now, it gives them another offensive player that they have to worry about. Someone else that they have to contain. It spaces out the field. So Millett is someone who's going to bring the attention. Not only is he going to be scoring, but he's also going to be just having a presence there on the field.
Oh, 100%. He's going to be someone that the Panthers are going to have to look out for in the attacking zone, as I will not be surprised at all if he's one of the 4 players that they're going to try to be in the attacking zone for most of this game. But the Panthers have some key players of their own that are going to make a huge impact on this one. And we're going to start off with number 12, the attacker, Grant Cavan, who's been a rising star for the Panthers this year. And on the season, he's got 6 goals, 6 ground balls, and he's averaging 3 points per game, leading the Panthers with 6 goals in 3 games, averaging 2 per game. And again, getting those 6 ground balls, which helps get more opportunities for their offense. And the second key player for today is someone who I love his game and his name.
Let him know, Josh.
Number 21, Josh Voman, the midfielder. I love the name, as I said, and he's making us Joshes of the world very, very proud. 4 goals, 2 ground balls, and 1.6 points per game. And similarly to Millette, like you mentioned, he's a bit more of an offensive-focused midfielder, but he's not scoring 8 goals so far like Millette. So Bowman's going to have more of a two-way impact on the field here for these Panthers.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that stands out to me when you see the midfield position is those ground balls. And obviously you saw how many ground balls Josh was able to grab, and that's so huge. Working in transition, able to switch the game around. You catch a defense out of position. Your offense is able to move in transition. So that's going to play a huge impact. The midfielders are the center point of the game, not just because of the name, but because of their style of play and what they bring. So I wanted to know a little bit more about midfielders. So I had the opportunity to talk to Nico Orsino, he plays a two-sport athlete. He plays football, he plays lacrosse. He's a midfielder here for the Chapman Panthers. I had a chance to watch him practice, but not just watch him practice. I got to talk to him while he practiced. So here's that video right now.
3, 1, 2, 3. Check down.
Do you guys do different types of drills, and what specifically do you guys like to work on as midfield?
We do this footwork every day and pick up some ground balls, and then we'll do some triangle drill.
I actually think I have a fair idea of what the goal is this year for the team. It's championship this year. So what's been the mentality? How have you guys been attacking that every single day at practice?
Work hard, There's really not much else to it. It's just, getting in the extra work and just trying to hone our skills as much as we can.
And dude, I can tell you guys have a great team camaraderie. I remember talking to a couple lacrosse guys last year. You guys have celebrations on the sidelines, come up with the bagpipes. What leads to that team camaraderie, man? Do you guys do hangouts after practice?
We hang out as much as we can. Building camaraderie in practice too, because the most time we spend with each other is out here. We also know when to have a little fun and build that camaraderie, because it's important in a team sport.
All right, I want you to fill in the blank. By the end of the season, the Chapman's men's lacrosse team will be
national champs, baby.
And it was just awesome. Just to be able to talk with Nico, not even just during the interview, but before the interview, getting to know him as a person, not just as a player. He's a great guy, selfless, scholar athlete, puts people before himself. He's completely selfish, and that's exactly the embodiment of what this team is. It's team camaraderie, how they put others before themselves, and Nico is just a perfect example of that. Great person, has a great future ahead of him. It was awesome to be able to sit down and talk with him. So, as we look down onto the field, and, we're going to pull up a graphic very soon, we're going to look at the entire standings for this entire conference.
Yes, we will. And coming in first place right now, we have the Arizona Wildcats, who are 3-1 overall, 2-0 in conference. And for the Panthers, 3-0 overall, 0-0 in conference, which that conference record will stay the same after tonight, as Minnesota is in the UMLC, the Upper Midwestern Lacrosse Conference. And coming in third, we have San Diego State Aztecs, who are 5-0 on the season, 0-0 in conference. We have Arizona State, who's 3-1 on the year, 0-0 in conference. We have Grand Canyon University, who's 1-2 on the year, 0-0 in conference. And the last two teams, a little bit surprising considering their pedigrees. We have UCLA there in second to last with an 0-1 conference record and a 1-3 overall record. And USC so far winless on the season with an 0-1 conference record and an 0-5 overall record. So the Panthers here off to a strong start in non-conference play, which will boost their rankings in the overall MCLA national poll, because they are third overall in the country for the MCLA Division I rankings.
Yeah. And, you mentioned big pedigrees like UCLA and USC, and yes, while there are big-time schools, and especially in other sports, the biggest competition for the Chapman Panthers in this whole entire conference is San Diego State. Last year, it was Chapman and San Diego State, neck and neck. They gave each other a run for their money. So that's exactly who the Panthers need to keep targeting, is at the top of the conference. Right now, they can't pay attention to who's at the bottom. They know which team they are. They know exactly the type of guys that they are, and they know their goal. They know that they're pushing not just for winning that conference, it's going beyond that. So that's exactly what the team needs to keep focusing on, needs to keep pushing through.
100%. And for the Gophers, they're in first place as well. They're 4-2 overall, as they're 3-0 in their conference, the Upper Midwestern Lacrosse Conference. And what do you think that means for them coming into this game so far?
Well, again, they're off to a fantastic start, offensively, right? And, they want to keep that momentum going. Gophers want to change the narrative that happened last year, you know? And for them, the way the Gophers probably see it this year, it's a revenge tour. You know, you came into our house last year, took our food, took our plates, everything. They stripped us clean in Minnesota. That's what Minnesota, their mentality got to be going into Chapman right here in Wilson Field. We want to take it right back. Give you the same feeling that we just had. So for the Chapman Panthers, it's understanding that the Gophers are going to come out fired up. They're going to come out and it's going to be personal. So the Panthers got to take it personal as well. This is a personal game for both sides, you know. In the end, the Panthers got to come out and face the same exact intensity that Minnesota is going to come out in this game and start off early. If you're the Chapman Panthers, you want to force Minnesota to come from behind. As a high-power offensive team, if they catch the lead early, it could just start a game of runs. And that's what Minnesota wants. If you're the Chapman Panthers, you want to force turnovers, ground balls. You know, you want to be able to switch in transition to defense into offense. And if you get a lead, you start to make Minnesota question themselves, second-guess their play, start to change up their offensive schemes, and then get off of the rhythm that they got on early in the season.
Revenge can be sweet for sure for the Gophers, but for the Gophers here, their defense has been a little bit questionable so far throughout this season. So what do you think of some things that they can do to try to be more of a force on the defensive end?
Well, for being on the defensive end, it's going to be how well the defenders can close in and start to put pressure on. If you can force double teams, if you feel like the midfielders at many points are able to bring that extra addition of pressure in on the defensive end, it's about how well you could put players in different situations to where they have to throw the ball up. They lose the ball, lose control. So it's forcing ground balls, forcing turnovers, getting them all off of rhythm. And it's going to start really I always say this. I keep saying this, right? Midfielders, so important. But they truly are, because you know what? They're playing both sides. They're going in on defense, and then they're coming in and they're running the offense. You know? They're the only players on the field that can run from both sides of the field. So it's so important if they could be great two-way players. So that's going to be the goal for Minnesota, but also for Chapman. You know, as we have a bit of the lineups, and we see both sides lining up here on the field, it's going to be great to see these two teams match up. I love how they do this in lacrosse with the two teams lining up, facing across each other. So, you know, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity where we could go over the starting lineups. So for the starting lineups, I have to talk about for the attackers, people that we need to talk about for Minnesota. Number 26, Jonas Wachowski. All right, that's the first attacker that we have to mention. Jonas Wachowski, 5'11", 215. He's a senior for Minnesota. Also someone to look out for, George Van Petersum, freshman attacker, 5'9", 170. And then we also have to talk about number 32 on the offensive side, Ethan Nuss, a freshman as well. Then we go to the midfield position, and, you know, this is where it starts to vary a lot with Minnesota. And, you know, some of the first midfielders that I think of when I see this is obviously number 2, Max, who's listed right there, Max Brewing. He's a great midfielder player. He's great force as we get started with the game.
As the face-off, the Panthers are able to win this one here, as we will have Anderson McDonald controlling it. As the Panthers look to control this one here.
Yeah, and we already have sub-ins here, but I want to talk about, you know, the rest of the starters from Minnesota. You know, Adam Millet, who I've already mentioned. And, you know, then you go to the defensive side, and this is the big point for Minnesota, you know, is trying to close on the defensive side. You got Hunter Berger here. Great name, by the way. I love it. Nicholas Hofstad. And, you know, also rounding out the defense is Jonah Conrad. And then that's like the biggest thing right there for Minnesota is how well they can be on the defensive end. And then you got Lars Rostad, who's rounding that lineup out from the goalie position.
Yeah, he is. As we have
the lights.
A little bit of lights going out here as Worth is controlling it.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
And it looks like we may have a
stoppage.
stoppage.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting flashbacks here a little bit to man, do you remember the Super Bowl, 49ers versus Ravens, and the power went out?
I do.
You know, the players who are already hyped up, ready to go for the game, and then already going to get stretches. It's kind of just what happened right there.
Yeah.
And you know, what an interesting situation for the players. You know, you just got the game going. You're starting to warm up, get the situation sorted. And now we have an indefinite stoppage of time because of the lights going out. So very interesting. It's going to change up how the players do. But the biggest thing right now that they can do is just stay warm, keep stretching. I know you really can't see the ball right now because the whole entire power is
Right,
out.
right.
And it's dark outside. It's a 7 p.m. game. So right now it's just relying on, tossing the ball around. If I'm in the crowd right now, bring out some iPhones, start flashing them around. Let's start getting some light going here.
Yeah, let's start a little chant going. Why not? And again, as you said for the players, it's so important to try and stay warm out there on the field. Keep stretching. Keep talking game plan with Coach Callis, and also important for more so the coaches.
Yeah.
Try to figure out the problem, too, because
Well,
you want to
exactly.
make sure you give honest information to your players as in a potential start time.
Yeah, hopefully, they can find the right people who, run the whole entire electricity for the building. I wouldn't know. I'm just a student. But the biggest thing is I love the music that they're playing. That's the first thing. Have fun with this a little bit.
100%. You have to. You have to.
You just gotta laugh at this. Who expects something like this to even happen? It's completely out of the blue. It's so funny right now, looking outside in the field and seeing the flashlights starting to play off right now, and just how the players are handling it. But this is, man, isn't it interesting? You're getting hyped up. I just talked about how this is the game. It's personal between these two teams. They're ready to go. Let's get this game started. Boom.
Even the lights are angry. Let's just put it that way. Even the lights are angry with
That's definitely a way to put it. Or
what
maybe,
happened.
Maybe it was a little bit too much for the lights to handle, as you could put it. But what a funny, interesting situation that we're in right now. To keep talking about further about these two teams, Josh, do you have anything else inside that you feel like, especially for Chapman's offensive side, that you feel like want to see them turn up in this game?
I think the main thing is just trying to move with a fast pace, because I'm thinking about how the Gophers can score, and it's going to be at a faster pace with all of the different players that can go in and out of that attacking zone as long as they have 4 players in there. I wouldn't be shocked if Minnesota's ready to use some fakes, to have people fake in, not go fully in, and then you have maybe a midfielder like Millette just run in at the last second. And again, defensively, they have to be on it. And they've been on it all year. Obviously, with Bollinger, he won the Pro Goalie of the Week award last week, so he's definitely not going to be an easy target to score on for the Gophers.
And that's not his first goalie of the week that he won. He won a goalie of the week as well back last year as well. Multiple goalies of the week. But, actually, here we go. We're going to have a bit of an interesting situation. We have Annie on the sidelines in the dark. Annie, what do you got for us?
So as you guys can tell, the lights are off. They're playing a song about the lights being off. When the lights went off, all the players were obviously upset. They were all ready to go. But I have received word that it's because it was on the schedule for the practice time, so the lights turned off right before the game started because they forgot to reset the timing for the game for the lights to be on. So we're just out here in the dark waiting for them to turn the lights back on and get it back on schedule. This sucks for the players because they were all amped up. We were amped up here, but we'll just have to see where this goes. Everybody in the crowd's waving their lights. Oh, they changed the song. They're just playing all the songs they can about the lights turning off. Back to you up in the booth. Not much to add down here. It's just dark.
Thank you very much, Annie, for that analysis. As again, as she said with the songs playing, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it for the fans. The fans aren't going to leave here anytime soon. It's only been a couple minutes, so nothing too concerning here just yet. But if you're a visiting team like the Gophers, what does this do for your psyche? Because you're already halfway across the country on the road here in California. And then to have this happen for your revenge game, how can they come out of this?
Well, if I'm the Gophers, I'm using this as motivation. What do you mean? We come over here, travel to California, and you're not even going to treat your guests with proper respect? Not even going to turn the lights on when we walk in? Come on, man. So that's exactly, if I'm the Gophers, you find anything right now to use as motivation. Anything you can to be like, hey, they're disrespecting us. Let's turn it up a notch. That's exactly what the Gophers got to do right now. Again, it's personal. This whole thing's personal. Take everything personally if you're the Gophers. You're trying to play it, kick it up a notch. For the Power, though, come on, guys. Come on, we know it's not practice time. We got a game to go. Come on. Jerry Price. I know it's not your fault. I just like calling you out. I love you, Jerry. But,
We're calling out Jerry Price on live right now? We're calling him out?
I love you, Jerry. I know it ain't your fault. You look out for us, the students. You're the man. Just want to give him a shout out. But it's just, this is such a fun situation right now. It kind of really is. You just got to enjoy it. I've actually have to say a couple times I have guilty. I've snuck out here, got a couple runs in when it's late at night because, I want to get some runs on in the track. So, this is something, I'm used to.
Hey, you got to get the late night run in. You got to get the late night run in, the late night workout in sometimes. Sometimes the days are really packed, and it could be a good way to end your day. So based off of your experience on this field with the lights off, as potentially we may not get full lights. I don't know exactly what the rules are there, but if we only have 3/4 of the lights working, let's say, how can that affect the game?
Well, I mean, you already saw the second the lights turned off on the right half of the field, the game still stopped. And then all of a sudden the full lights went out. I mean, you really want the entire lights on for the game. You can't have one side off and the other side on. That creates a disadvantage. And no matter how you put it, it's a disadvantage on the left side compared to the right side. It means most of the plays probably going to be played factored onto the right side compared to the left because you can't see as well. So here's the thing. There's no situation, I don't think, where it's you play with the full, like half the lights on and half off type of situation. You need the full lights on. You need the full lights for the game. So it's just, coaches and, whoever, the connections are calling the right people to try to set up the lights here on the field. But in any situation, we have to talk about there's two coaches in this game that, really catch our eye. So, let's take this advantage of stoppage of time to talk about the two coaches that we have in this game, Josh.
Yeah, we have some amazing coaches here in this game. Coach Joel Callis for the Panthers in his second season with a 20-4 overall record. Yes, an 8-1 overall conference record here. In just 2 years, he's really turned the Panthers back into that national title contending team. And over to the Gopher side, we have Peter Gozen, who is 31-11 overall and 27-3 in conference. So both of these coaches know how to win in their conferences, and he's in his fourth year for this Gophers coaching staff, and they've improved every single year, and they can believe that this is the year that something big may happen for their program. And both of these coaches trying their best to keep their players, focused through this, because this is an event that rarely ever happens in terms of sports, especially here. This is the first time I've seen this happen here on campus.
I was about to say, I'd say this is probably the first time I think this has happened on campus for Chapman itself. Man, I don't know. This is the third time I've witnessed this in person. I've witnessed it one time as well with the Niners and the Pittsburgh Steelers back when I was going to Candlestick. And the Candlestick lights went out in San Francisco when the Niners were playing the Steelers. Power went out, but the beautiful thing was there was a lot of people in the stadium, so everyone was flashing their lights. It was still like the lights were still on. Here, though, it's not as big of a crowd, so it's still pretty dark out there. But one thing I have to say, too, is, you kind of saw in the background, I like the lighting. Keck building looks very nice. The lights are shining. You get a nice look at AF as well. One thing I have to say, the lights may not be shining, but the campus itself, still pretty beautiful. Look at that right there.
Look at that lighting. Just look at that beautiful picturesque, if you will, that light right there in the night sky. And we're literally in the calm before the storm as we're expecting a rain game here tomorrow for the women's game.
Look at this. The cinematographer in me right now is going crazy. I love that shot. Parallel, perfect, lights on. It looks beautiful. That one.
Yeah, this one the lights aren't necessarily fully on.
Switch cameras. It's just kidding. But look at, man, it's a lovely campus. What an interesting situation we have going on.
It is. It's very interesting. Last year we had the rain delay football game in 2022 where we had to take a very long break there. So hopefully this ends here pretty soon for everybody, as these players just want to play a game, a good old-fashioned game of lacrosse, and we have a little airplane in the sky.
That's a good shot.
We have the Anderson Athletics Complex that is right near us here at
That's a great shot. As the film nerd in me, that shot that we just saw right there, it was perfect. It was off a little bit to the right. You got the clouds kind of going over the building. It was a great look. Hold on, I'm trying to hear from the announcer right now. Oh, okay. He's just taking DJ requests right now, which is kind of nice. I wish I could put my own little request.
If you have any DJ requests, and you're at the stadium, hey, make sure to tell them. We can get the music right here for this occasion. Look at that statue as well.
That's a great shot.
Look at that, an amazing statue there outside.
We're just basically becoming a film class right now.
We are.
We're just filming everything right now. We're filming the whole entire school.
Major, we have to take everything, as we are going to take a little bit of a break here as this delay gets settled, and we will be back with you here on the CSBN Live YouTube channel once this is over. We thank you all for tuning in, and please tune in when we're back.
bensound.com. bensound.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our broadcast as we are dealing with the slight delay here, but we appreciate you for keeping with us, for still tuning in as we're still waiting for the light to come back as we just had Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah.
I see one light. We are getting back here shortly.
I see 3. I see 4. I think the lights are starting to get back on. I think the players are also taking the field as well.
Yeah,
They're
the
starting to
players
get going.
are.
This game is starting. So they're gonna play with whatever lights they got going.
As it looks a little brighter than it did before out there on the field. Definitely good to see. For the Panthers, Kevin passing it back out to Morissette. As we have the penalty there. As what do you think this type of delay can cause for the start of a game?
Well, I mentioned before, it makes players get cold, gets off rhythm. It's very important that, Chapman and for Minnesota both, you hope that both sides were continuing to move around, keep running. You don't want to get tight. You don't want to let this delay at any point turn down the intensity that you were going to come out with.
Morissette, back to Kevin. Out there to Voman. Voman with the shot, and that is going to be off target there.
Now remember,
as Morissette going to pick this one up.
Well, it's 4 seconds on the shot clock, so Panthers got to get a quick play going. And smartly, he decides to toss it back. That's a smart play. But remember, when it goes out of bounds, the reason why that toss out of bounds went right back to Chapman is it's the closest player to the out of bounds that actually gets the possession, not so much who just touched it last when it went out of bounds. Interesting difference in the rules than most other sports.
The Gophers are going to get the ball here now as they're on the attack. Waiting to make something happen here.
Now, as you can tell, too, there's a lot of sub-ins. They happen rapidly in this game of lacrosse. There's no stoppage in time, to get subs in. They can happen at any point.
Similar to sort of a hockey game here as they're going to take it into the attacking zone. Ursino playing some solid defense. They're going to pick it out to the side. There's going to be Brewing. Out to Carlson with the shot, and it's going to be off to the left. As the Gophers fail to score here on their first offensive possession.
But they still get the reset. I mean, you have 30 seconds on the shot clock, so if you're the Gophers, take advantage. You want to win the time of possession as well. If you take long possessions to score, you drain that entire quarter clock, it's going to go very well in your favor come the end of the game.
As Brewing looking for someone to pass it to. Looking for an open teammate. He's going to take the shot, and Bollinger able to not save it, but going to miss that one there.
He was looking for his 7th goal of the year. He's already at 6.
As they are going to call a slight penalty there. Is Kevin going to take this one?
It was a great job by Kevin, too, trying to get in front, trying to enforce, and it put the Gophers in a bad position to where he had to trip him up like that in that situation. That was Hunter Berger right there, who tried to get the stop off. And, we have a couple check-ins here for the Panthers. Take your time. You have a long shot clock. Don't have to force the wrong shot. You want to make the goalie rotate and move a little farther away, put him in the right position.
As Morissette back to Kevin. Kevin looking to shoot. Kevin off the top of the post, and they're going to score. That is Rocco Reginelli with the first goal of the game. 1-0 lead, Panthers.
I love the play by Rocco there to immediately catch it and not give a second for the goalie to recover. He actually, perfectly, he just landed right on top. He's like, oh, for me? Thank you. And then he just fired it away. That was great decision making, not giving the goalie any second to breathe or really process what was happening.
as they're going to have the second face-off here of the game. Cooper Allers, the face-off specialist for the Panthers and fellow football player as well, plays defensive back
Called his name plenty of times.
for the Panthers. Yes, he made some clutch plays all throughout that season. As the Panthers are going to take control of this one again, as Allers able to get this one sprinting down the field.
Yeah, and Panthers winning the face-off battle. Get that first possession. That's huge. Now you have 72 seconds in your favor.
As Walker with this one. Back out to Brugman. Back into Cavan. Out to Morissette. Minnesota trying to play some physical defense on him.
Yeah.
Morissette gets hit in the helmet there almost, but he's able to firm that one.
Talented attacker, man. He got honorable mention for all conference last season.
And Cavan shoots that one, and it's going to be off as the Gophers able to take possession as it falls out of his stick, but he's able to recover it.
First of all, it was a great save by Rostad there. He was able to catch that right in his stick, and that was his 25th save of the season. But Rostad, he doesn't have a great save percentage, 46%.
And again, it falls out of the player's stick right there.
So far, Minnesota's making a lot of mistakes, and the Panthers have been winning the time of possession.
Back to Brugman. Looking for someone to pass to. Taking his time. A lot of time left here on the shot clock. As that now is going to be passed back out. Going to New Starton. Cavan. To Morissette. Morissette's going to try for the shot. And he is not going to get that one.
I think they are going
to. And they are going to give that to him. He barely snuck that one in there.
Oh, it's a great move by Morissette. Again, I mentioned honorable mention for all conference attacker last year. A dangerous player to look out for on the Chapman Panthers side. And that's a famous move, that you see all the time in lacrosse. The wraparound around the goal. It puts the goalie in an interesting situation, where they really don't know what to expect where the ball to go. And here we go again with the faceoff. The Panthers have won the first two, the first one before the power outage.
As Ehlers against Brockenhauer, and the Panthers are going to get it with Orsino recovering this one, sprinting down the side of the field. Now they're going to, the Panthers have been dominating these face-off wins. Back to Cavan. Back to Worth. Fun fact, I have a class with Jack Worth.
Oh, there you go.
Definitely looking forward
to
this game. It is Leaders with Passion, Ethics, and Service.
Okay, Mr. Leader. Let me salute you real quick.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much for the salute. I really appreciate that.
Right now, I like what the Panthers are doing. They're slowing down the pace. They're in control of all this.
Cavan broke his ankles right there. Morissette looking for someone to pass to. Back to Cavan. Back out to Worth, who fakes the shot.
Yeah, don't worry. You still got 37 seconds.
Out to Vorman. Unable to get that one. That's going to fly past the goal. But again, the midfielder Vorman already making a big impact on the offensive end.
Big time. Big time. I mentioned again, if you have midfielders who can play at the high level of attackers offensively, it's like having an extra guy out there. It's a deadly force. Here he is again, the same move, wrap around.
Morissette gets hit in the neck there, and they're going to throw a flag on that one. That was a high flag throw, too. He put his all into that one.
I love it. Really let him know that was a penalty right there. So you see how Minnesota tried to adjust there? Morissette scored on that move last time. All of a sudden bringing a second man over, so they decide to overemphasize on the goalie's right side, bring a second defender over. Got a little over-aggressive there. Didn't have to do all that. But again, that's what we mentioned. This is going to be a rough game. Minnesota it's personal, man. You came into your house 124-2. So, they don't want that to happen again. They're going to come out with physicality. It's up to Chapman now to match it.
Cavan to Morissette. It's going to be back out to Voman. Out to Worth. Going to pass it back out to Cavan. Morissette. And, just missing that one right there for the Panthers. That is going to be Adam McDonald just missing that.
Can I just mention that was a fantastic play design. While it didn't work out, and actually I still think it was a very good shot attempt. Here's the ground balls. You got to win these.
And Morissette picks up the ground ball, has an uncontested pass to the goal, and he's going to get that one right down the middle. Luke Morissette with his second goal of the game already.
Yep, the 2023 Scholar Athlete winner. 2 goals already in this game. And he has 42 total goals in his career now after this, 44 total in his career.
Yeah, Morissette, another one of these returners for the Panthers that will be making such a key impact as we have the face-off here again, where the Panthers have been undefeated so far here. It will be Allers yet again versus Carson Brockenauer. And again, the Panthers are able to get it.
Cooper does a fantastic job of actually using the opponent's momentum on those face-off. He actually makes the opponent overemphasize and push a little too far off of the ball. It sends it back to his side of the field where he has more players ready to grab it. It's a great idea. It's, you know, it's like almost like it's a little bit of just, you know, you push and shove real quick, and then all of a sudden it's like a little red cape in front of a bull. You pull it away last second, the bull pushes right through, and he overemphasizes. That's exactly what they're doing on the face-off.
And it's been working, as the Panthers, as we've said, undefeated so far on these face-off. Regionelli, back to Worth. Worth going to Kevin, who's going
Great
to go
passing.
back out to Morissette. Faked me out there. I thought he was going for the shot.
So yeah, the Minnesota's adjusted to that wraparound move.
And Regionelli again scores that one, and that is his second goal of the game as well.
Yeah. I mean, Regionelli, my goodness, his second goal already. Now that's 4 on the year. This is a freshman, you know, from Bellarmine, which is in San Jose, California, you know, my hometown. I love seeing what this guy's doing right now. Right now, the Chapman Panthers have 2 scorers who are red hot, on fire. And that's exactly what I mentioned that the Chapman Panthers need to do. They're winning the time of possession. You know, they're taking their time on those possessions that they're getting. They're using the full 80-second clock if they can. And the Minnesota hasn't touched the ball a lot, so they haven't been able to get an offensive rhythm. They've only taken 2 shots, Minnesota has. You know, both shots going way off. It was kind of like last-second heave attempts anyways. So Minnesota right now hasn't been able to find their ground. On the other hand, you know, you got Morissette, who's in rhythm, on fire. The passing for the Panthers, too, is fantastic. They're finding the open lanes. They're giving players, just even if it's super tight, they got players who, if you give them enough space, they'll be able to fire it in there. That last shot that you saw right there was a prime example of that. A little ground ball underneath shot right down into the left corner. Fantastic.
And something else I want to keep an eye on is that move that Morissette has been doing that he showed in that replay. Some people say that lacrosse can be similar to basketball at times with some picks, some moves, and that's like a little dribble spin move that you're doing on the baseline. They're kind of to get to the basket, and that's exactly what Morissette has been able to do here early, and why the Panthers are up to a 4-0 lead here, and we're barely even 8 minutes into this game.
Yeah, well, when I had the opportunity to talk to Nico, I asked him about that game plan. You know, do you guys have offensive plays drawn out in lacrosse? You know, how's that all work out? And what he mentioned to me was it's more so the element of it's positioning. They got to understand each other's positioning, where they are on the field, off the field, and then rotate based off of that. So, you know, it is, once they realize where the defense is aligned, they kind of have in mind, okay, this is where we want to pick, this is where we want to rotate, this is who's going to come around, this is who we want taking this shot. You know, sometimes they want it always, you know, it does play a factor. Who's the hot hand? You know, we want to get it in his stick. This is a ground ball.
And it looks like the Gophers, no, actually the Panthers are going to get that as great. Kevin able to get that one.
Oh, there you go.
But the Gophers able to get possession here.
For a second, man, I was going to say that's a big missed opportunity for Minnesota, not getting that ground ball. That was right in their opportunity, but they're able to take it away. Here we go. This is one of Minnesota's first possessions. If I'm Minnesota, you slow down the pace. You make it go at your rhythm right now.
As Brewing gives it up. He's going to give that one up to They're going to go behind the goal there.
Just give it its time, you know, find the right shot opportunities.
Back out to Carlson, who's having trouble corralling it, and he finally gets that one. Back to Brewing. Brewing. Trying to get open, sprinting towards the goal. Going to take a shot, and it's going to be way off, and it's going to go out of bounds there.
Minnesota did a good job of
As
putting
Minnesota
the stick out
gets
the
it.
farthest.
But Bollinger ready to save any shot attempts there.
There he is, man. Bollinger again. It's the key behind the Panthers' defense. All those saves he can get.
Going to go out to Morris. Back out to Walker. Finds Morissette. Back to Brugman.
There you go. Just slow down. 51 seconds left. Play your hand.
As Cavan finds Morissette. That's been the duo that's really started a lot of these Panthers offensive possessions here so far. To Newstern. Back to Walker. To Morissette. Trying to do his signature move yet again. Gophers were ready there for that one. I got to Brugman. Cavan going to Morissette. And good closeout there. Morissette has to go for it. Yeah. And a great save there.
You can tell attackers have positionings. Morissette is always set up behind the goal. So that move right there, that wraparound move, that's his specialty. That's what he's got to nail down. There we go.
As it's a ground ball. Ground ball.
I like the
idea.
And
the Gophers can't get to it, but they finally are able to recover that one.
I like the move by the Panthers there. You know, you didn't have to chase that ground ball. Would have put you out of position. Just set up defensively. You know, you don't want to, if anything, you don't want to give Minnesota any easy opportunities right now. Make them work for their first goal. This is going to be hard, man, for Minnesota.
That was Hofstede who recovers it. Back to Brewing. Back to Carlson.
It's good movement for Minnesota.
Out to Millett. Millett has not necessarily impacted the game yet so far, but he goes for that one, and Bollinger able to save that one pretty easily. Got his stick right out in front of that.
Do you know how hard it is to be a goalie in lacrosse? You got a little, that's not a big ball coming at you. It's tiny, and it's coming at you fast. So you have to have great hand-eye coordination to see that thing coming, be able to react in time, and then get it in your stick. Not just stop it, but catch it.
No, it's definitely very, very difficult to be a goalie in any sport.
Yeah.
Really, there's a reason why I never played goalie when I played soccer. Let's just put it that way. It's Worth here trying to command the offense.
You know, I used to do a little bit of goalie back in my day. I wasn't good, but, you know.
We got to see some of the tape. We got to see the tape.
No, that's why, because it ain't on tape. That's Little League days, man. That's why I switched to football way early.
The Cavan as Rosted going for it, and he's able to get it.
Well, that's a big loss of possession. Again, I mentioned Minnesota hasn't been able to get a lot of possessions off. So it's a game of rhythm, man. You gotta have your players at some point. You need to be able to keep having offensive possessions, figuring the defense out, but they haven't had the opportunity to do that.
Is Cavan
Good
out
pass.
to Morissette? Cavan, and a good save there by Rostad. Again, the stick up and putting it right behind the goal.
By the way, that was a fantastic read by Morissette. He realized that the defender was playing that closeout wraparound move, and it was a great movement there by Cavan to move a little further back, realize that he'd get an open shot, and he had it. Keep taking those. Those are shots you live with.
Morissette out to Worth, and that is going to go in. Jack Worth with the goal, and some great leadership out there on the field as well.
Oh, they're in rhythm right now. The whole team right now, especially on the offensive side, it's one mind. They're reading each other. They're moving without having to really double guess or second guess any of their moves. They're in sync. And those shots right now are really on target. A lot of the shots for the Chapman Panthers have been in the goal, at the goal. You know, it's forcing the goalie to really have to play 100%. You know, you're not giving him any easy ones. Even the ones that he saves, there's still shots on goal.
Face off here. Panthers still looking to go undefeated. Race for it, and the Panthers are going to get this face off yet again. Recovered by Morrison.
Well, they win the face off, but then he loses possession there on the ground ball. So that's a big loss for the Chapman Panthers right there. They really could have put their foot on the gas.
And the Panthers are going to recover this one. That's Ursino. That is going to go to Stefan. And that was an errant pass there. But the Panthers able to recover it with Cavan. To Morissette. Back to Cavan. Morissette has just been behind that goal every single offensive possession, but has been working out so far here for the Panthers. Back to Walker.
Yeah, Panthers buying time right now as the sub-ins come in. New personnel. Reset the offense. Figure out who the strengths are. Lacrosse 2, Nico Rossino told me, it's a game of mismatches. You want to find out who their weak links are, who the weak defenders are. Play to those sides.
And that is going to go in. Grant Cavan with the first goal of the game for him. 6-0 lead here for the Panthers as the first quarter is winding down.
My goodness, is it an onslaught right now? The Chapman Panthers are just playing at another level. The crowd's getting loud, everyone's getting hyped up. The home field advantage, you could feel it for the Chapman Panthers. And Minnesota, it's just, look at the body language. That's a big tell in the thing. You know, there's something in any sport that you can't measure, but you can visualize and see. And that's momentum, how the players hold themselves, the speed, the intensity that they're going at. Right now, the Panthers have full control of that.
And for the Panthers, Morrison cannot win the faceoff. That was the first lost faceoff of the day for these Panthers.
Right now, Minnesota, you take that. It's the little wins. You got to take the little wins when you get them.
That's definitely true. As the Gophers looking to run here, and that is Becky Galpo with possession. Out to Carlson. Carlson looking for his teammates. Out to Millett. Millett trying to get into the attacking zone. Millett looking for some teammates. He finds one. Going to circle it back out here. Try to reset with Brewing.
Good movement. For Minnesota, you're not trying to get it all back in one goal. Play it slow. Take your time. Get the right shot. That's just all you need. It just takes one shot to wake your team up.
As Brewing is going to go for that shot, and Bollinger again able to get his stick to the lower side of the goal there.
Goodness, this Bollinger's having himself a day right now with these saves.
And look at this. The Panthers are just basically able to gallop the ball straight down the field with Morris. And Morris able to get that one. He went coast to coast like he just postered somebody right there.
A one-man wrecking crew in the game of lacrosse. It's very impressive when a player is able to do that. Weave around the defense, and also one thing that doesn't be shown too much, those pump fakes. Just a little flip around of the stick. It forces the defender to be like, move it to the right, move it to the left, because, oh, I'm expecting a pass. I can't leave this lane open, and then that's those little hesitation moves. If you're quick enough to take advantage and wrap around that, that's exactly what he did for the goal.
And again, that basketball similarity that we've been talking about has really shown up here as well. But now Morrison looking to try to win his first face-off.
Imagine it as a fast break and a fake pass, you know, just those little pump fakes.
Ursino couldn't get the ground ball, still fighting for it, and the Gophers are going to come away with this one as they look to try to get their first goal of the game here before the quarter winds down, and that's going to bounce
game right now.
Off there as the end of the first quarter has arrived. We have a 7-0 lead for the Panthers here early on. And what have been some of the keys for the Panthers that have really gotten them out to such a hot start?
Okay, so the obvious answer I can give is the Chapman Panthers offense and how well they've been moving. But what really stands out to me is Bollinger. Bollinger's doing a fantastic job on the defensive end. He has multiple saves in this game already, but it's also how he's rotating, moving around the goal. He's not giving Minnesota any lanes. He doesn't overcommit to a side. He doesn't try to predict. He doesn't let Minnesota control and dictate the momentum on the field as the crowd's getting hyped up here in Ernie Chapman Stadium. And so my biggest thing here is we mentioned it's a game of offense versus defense, right? What I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing a defense that is winning. They're not getting Minnesota any possessions. Minnesota's barely touched the ball. You know, they barely had possessions. They barely had any opportunity to try to get any shots off, and that's thanks to the goalies that are in this game. More specifically, the goalie for the Chapman side, Jason Bollinger, who's doing a fantastic job in this game. I mean, Jason, we've talked about all season long how well he's played, right? The amount of saves. He's a, you know, look at, as you can see right here, 37 saves, a save percentage of 63%. Now in lacrosse, a good save percentage is 60%, right? So 63%, he's right above average. He's doing a fantastic job this year. But we know this about Jason Bollinger. Now for Rostad, he's having a bit of a struggle. You know, 56% on a save percentage is not bad. He's doing a very good job. But in this game, he is struggling. He's a little late to reactions. He's a little out of position here and there. So we're seeing two different games from two different goalies right now at this moment. And there's a reason why Bollinger is who he is. You know, there's a reason why he's always the defender of the week. It's a reason why he's just always someone that feels like the Chapman Panthers can rely on in many situations, even if there are lane openings. You know, they feel like they can rely on their first team all-conference goalie from last year to help them out.
And speaking of more awards for Bollinger, he just won the Pearl Goalie of the Week award for seems like an infinite amount of times at this point.
Yeah.
Throughout his Panthers career. So he's definitely someone who his teammates love and respect, and he shows it out on the field every game.
I mean, it just makes sense, right? It makes sense that, you know, the one guy who has won that award so many times, of course, in the first week of the season, he wins that award again, right?
It certainly makes sense here as the Gophers, though, have their best possession in a minute here is Morris.
Great physicality, though. I like what the Panthers are doing.
As
Look at that, giving him no lanes. That was a fantastic job by Camden there on the end. Using his stick, holding it out, not letting him get any angle.
It's Kellogg with it. Out to Carlson. Back out behind the goal. Out to Van Peterson.
There's a screen right there. See, that's how they rotate around. What
That's going to be.
See, here's why the Panthers are doing so good on defense, too. They're playing manned up, basically. You know, in a sense, they just pick up the man that's closest to them. They're not having to be put in a situation where they have to force double teams and then leave a guy open in any sort of situation. The Panthers are playing their ideal defense.
As the Panthers are going to get possession back here with Worth. As we have switched sides for this quarter, that is something to note. The sides will be switching throughout this game. Worth looking to attack. Worth working on his defender. The Gophers playing some physical defense here to start off this second quarter. Worth looking, yes, Reginelli right next to him, and he's going to go to him.
Again, for the Panthers, time is not a worry right now at this moment. At this point, you just want to run these clock down anytime you get a possession.
As Reginelli looking for an open man. He's got Voman. Voman again, one of these midfielders that we mentioned pregame in Voman, and that shot's going to be off as Rostad was ready for that one.
That was a great move by Rostad. Great. He didn't go flat-footed. Rostad keeping his feet moving. He was able to react. But I like the box-out idea from the Panthers as well, working from the backside.
Reginelli. Go one for the behind the back there, but didn't quite get that one to go as Cavan recovers.
Here we go again.
Morissette.
We've seen his name already.
And he's in a different spot to start off this second quarter. Again, Coach Callis with some adjustments early on in this quarter.
And that's good. Keep Minnesota on their toes. Don't give them something predictable.
And again, a good save there by Rostad. He's definitely picked it up here to start off the second quarter.
That's a big ground ball win. One thing I do have to mention, Minnesota, the one thing that they can hang their hat on so far early, although there hasn't been much to hang on in the first half, they are winning the ground ball battle. They have a little bit more ground balls won compared to the Panthers. That does make a difference. Those are switches in possession.
As the Gophers now look to try to start off a stronger offensive possession than what they've had here so far. Out to Brewing. It's going to go out to Nuss.
Yep, slow it down. Play your game if you're Minnesota. You're not going to get it all back in one goal. It's just you just need to get that first one. You need to break the ice. That's kind of keeping you frozen up right now.
To Van Peterson to Brewing. Brewing gets in the attacking zone, and he just collides into two Chapman defenders, and no flags are going to be called as the Panthers are going to recover as Bollinger looks ready as he fakes out his defender right there. Put him on some skates early.
A bit of an offensive move from Bollinger.
And look at Morris, though. Again, almost has an unimpeded path to the goal. Back to Morris set. And what a collision right there. Oh, we have a fight breaking out a little bit between Brewing and Cavan, but nothing more is brewing, if you will.
It's just a little pushing and shoving, nothing crazy. Do you want to see a fight happen, Josh? You were ready for that one.
No, I was ready. I touched up on some of my moves. You know, we've seen some fights happen in sports lately. We don't encourage that. We're not encouraging that. But if it happens, we got to be ready.
If Chapman has a boxing team at some point, I know who I want commentating that. I got you, Josh.
Oh, I know who I think. I think we both have the same person in mind for that event.
Ben Moscoso, we're talking about you.
Yes, Ben, we hope you're enjoying your weekend, and hopefully you're watching right now as the Panthers have possession.
Could get you and Ben Moscoso on a call for Chapman boxing. But when we go back to this game here, I like what the Panthers are doing in the sense we mentioned how Morstead, he's in a different position that we haven't seen him all game. It's good because, you know, you're not giving Minnesota any time to adjust. Now all of a sudden you're switching personnel into different positions, switching the matchups, finding where the mismatches are.
And that's going to go way back out to Morissette.
Here you go. Game of mismatches. Find the weak link.
Morissette goes all the way for the score, right over the outstretched stick of Rostad. 8-0 lead for the Panthers.
Luke Morissette, have yourself a day, young man. 3 goals in the first half. Are you kidding me?
Already got the hat trick going in the first half.
Yeah, let's go for more. Don't settle for anything. At this point, Panthers, keep your foot on the gas.
You can never take your foot off the gas in the sports. 8-0 lead here early, but again, we still have over 10 minutes left until halftime as we have a replay here of this last Morissette goal.
Matchups. You see the little screen there that happened, and he just knew Luke was unable to identify, yeah, I could get around this guy. I have enough speed. Found the right angle. Shot on goal. Goal.
As some substitutes come in here as the Gophers, again, we talked about the high-powered offense. They have yet to get really any good shots here so far, and we're almost halfway through this second quarter already.
Yeah. I think I've counted only 3 shots on goal so far for Minnesota. You know, Bollinger's doing a fantastic job with these saves, but it's also like Bollinger's not having to put in a lot of effort right now currently at the moment. He's having himself a very chill first half, which is not what you want to do if you're Minnesota. You know, you want Bollinger to be tired and second guessing where the shots might be coming from, but right now he's in rhythm. He's seeing the field clearly.
And that is going to go back out to Kellogg. Back out up top there. Gophers looking for something.
See if they can find it.
And it's Thompson.
Here you go now. You 25 seconds left in the shot clock. This is where you do have to speed it up a little bit, down to 20 seconds.
Back to Kellogg with a little spin move. Kellogg gets doubled. He's able to kick it out, but it falls out of the stick. We have a fight for the ground ball, and the Gophers able to get it yet again.
Winning ground ball battle. The Gophers still are. 5 seconds on the shot clock.
As the Panthers fighting for it, and they are going to get it, but there's going to be a flag thrown on the field there. The Panthers able to recover that one with Kennedy.
But it looks like that flag might be on the Panthers, and it's going to allow Minnesota to keep their possession. It's a great job. And, you know, what the Panthers are doing so far, we talked about the utter dominance that they've shown against Minnesota last season. They're already at the most goals in a first half in a game this season. This is their highest scoring first half. That doesn't really come as a surprise. I know how good of an offensive team this Chapman Panthers team is, but 8 goals in a first half is a lot. You know, a lacrosse matchup, you know, the scores usually end around 12. You know, 12 to around that range of 12 to 10. 8 goals? 6 of those happening in the first? Come on now. My goodness.
Dane Peterson back out to Carlson. Looking for someone open back to Brewing, who's having some trouble picking it up. And it's a ground ball. The Panthers cannot quite get it. The Gophers again able to come with it.
They're winning
Still
those ground
fighting.
balls, man. I'll give them credit.
And the Gophers able to get it yet again.
When those possessions are 50-50, the Gophers are winning.
The shot no good off of Bollinger's stick yet again.
I like the dive idea there. What he wanted to do, remember, it's the closest person to the ball when it goes out of bounds. And that actually doesn't include the body. That includes the stick. So you saw what that slide was. It wasn't him slipping. It was him diving there on purpose to try to be the closest to the ball.
And Brewing's shot right there was no good.
You saw Bollinger do it there as well. You saw him running, holding the stick out. He thought even for a split second, if he could get ahead of him, that ball can go in the Chapman Panthers' possession.
Brewing again with the shot, and it's going to be off and wide. It seems to me that the Gophers are rushing a lot of their shots. Being down 8-0 early, that's something they may have to do. But as you've been saying, got to get 1 goal just to get on the board.
Rushing's definitely a big problem. Another thing is, too, is I think Bollinger's just really in good positioning. You saw how he emphasized the right side because that's exactly where he expected the goal to be. It forced his shot to go wide right. And that's a big-time hit. Looks like a no call either. Remember, lacrosse, it is a physical game, too. They're going to let a lot of these hits go by. Oh, there's a flag, though. Here we go.
As the Panthers control this one.
Yeah, so just so you know, as the possession's going on here, most likely that means the flag's on Minnesota because there's a flag down on the field.
As Cavan,
35.
The ball falls out of his stick there again, and yes, we do have a flag.
So if the flag is on the defending team, here we go, he's calling a foul. Looks like it was a slash call. Looks like it was a slashing call, 1-minute penalty, so it looks like Panthers are going to have a man advantage. When a defender is the one who gets the flag call, they're going to let the possession actually still play out. Then once the offense loses possession or scores the goal, the penalty is called.
Right. And again, it's a little bit like hockey with the power play advantage right now here with
Well, it's even more
Lacrosse,
so.
yeah.
They basically give you one free possession before the power play possession. So when the offenses know the flag is down, you know, they communicate on the field. They mention flag down, flag down. It's the opportunity to basically say, you have a free possession right here. Try to take advantage of it.
Voman going for it, not going to get it, and a great save there by Rostad, able to time that one perfectly.
Great timing by Rostad. One of his better plays in this game today. Able to get low and grab that.
As the Gophers look to maintain possession, and that's going to be out of bounds there. As we have some substitutes coming in for both the Panthers and the Gophers.
Remember, substitutions are seamless. It's good to get new personnel out there, fast legs. It's all about mismatches, too. I've mentioned it so many times before, but that's exactly what a lot of these lacrosse players say. Lacrosse is a game of matchups.
Many sports are a game of individual
could say that.
matchups, but again, for lacrosse, it is definitely something to keep an eye on. As Worth over to Kevin. Back to Morissette, who's back more towards that behind the goal area that we really saw him in earlier on. Worth going for his second goal, but that's going to be too high. But the Panthers able to maintain possession.
Here you go. Second possession opportunity. You still got a full shot clock ahead of you.
That's a Brugman. Back to Voman.
Watch out from the other
Voman,
side.
oh, he gets sandwiched in between two defenders. And look at that pick set there by Worth, able to distract the defense.
That was a smart play there by the midfielder. I like what he was doing, you know, because, again, midfielders, they play both sides. So he was sitting a little bit more on the offensive side, being that extra fourth man in case of a fast break. But the second he saw the Panthers get a little bit closer to midfield with the possession and the ball, he was able to close out sandwich.
And
What a
Worth
shot.
was able to get right to the goal there and just go. He went top bins, if you will, like in the soccer game right there in the top left corner.
Yeah. That is now 3 players with 2 or more goals each. You got Jack Worth with 2. You got Rocco Reginelli with 2. And then, of course, you know, we've mentioned his name a lot more steady. He's got 3. My goodness. Right now, what an onslaught from the Panthers. That's now 9-0. Like, as you can see, look at as he's surveying the field and then realized, yeah, once I got past him, I'm taking this myself. And it's a great angle on the shot as well. That's a tough angle to pull from the right side because there's really only so many spots that you could put that ball. He literally put it in the perfect spot, top of the corner, put it on the top shelf where the kids can't get it.
Definitely. You got to hide the good snacks where the kids can't get it. And he hit that goal for Rostad. Couldn't get it. As Walker now looking to reset possession here for the Panthers. Again, it seems like every other time we're saying something, the Panthers have the ball in the attacking zone.
Yeah. I mean, they're winning the face-off battle. Look at that. Now they got possession following up that goal already. That's the
Walker
big thing about lacrosse.
takes the pick from Newston. Walker back to Cavan. And that is going to be blocked there. As Cavan able to recover. They kick it back out to Morissette.
Yep, keep setting screens. More set right now. He knows he has a speed advantage.
To Newton for the shot. And he cannot get that one to go.
But to go back to, you know, the game of lacrosse itself and those face-off, lacrosse is an interesting game because, you know, most times in most sports, when you score an offense, it means it goes right back to the, you know, the opposing team and they get their offense possession. But lacrosse can be, that shot is off.
That was a good save, though, there from
Yeah,
Rostad.
It was a great save by Rostad. But as I mentioned, lacrosse is one game where, you know, those face-offs are so important because if you're a team that's really good on offense, as we have a fast break opportunity.
And the pass to Morissette, and no good. Try to pass it to Cavan, but Cavan was unable to corral the ball into his pocket there.
But what I was mentioning, again, you can have a game of lacrosse where it feels like your offense just doesn't touch the ball at all, you know? And that's exactly what it was for Minnesota early on because they weren't winning those face-off battles. Chapman was winning the time of possession, scoring, face-off win, scoring, face-off win, scoring, face-off win. It's like at some point it's like for Minnesota, we're like, man, we haven't even touched the ball yet. We haven't even had a chance to show what we got on offense. But that's just how the game of lacrosse is. Those face-offs, so vitally important to this game.
As Brewing looking to reset the offense, trying to get a good possession, Brewing here for the Gophers. The Gophers taking this one, taking their time so far with this possession. As Millett has the ball here, looking to make a move. Millett looking for teammates. He's going to find Hofstad. back over to Nuss. With physical defense there by Morris, Nuss has nowhere to go as he's doubled. And a good save there by Millet. But of course, look at that. Bollinger yet again with another save. But there is a flag on the play.
There is a flag, and it looks like it's probably going to give Minnesota another possession. But Bollinger positioning so good. It's really impressive to watch him work from the goalie position and see where he lines up, how he's always keeping his feet moving, feet square, ready to rotate whenever the ball comes his way.
Yeah, again, but now the Gophers here able to get another possession. This is really the first time they've been able to do that, as we have a replay of the save by Millet. But again, Bollinger just turning the stick at the perfect time, able to get that save yet again.
Yeah. It's good rotations. Got to find something if you're Minnesota right now.
As Nuss looking to find something. And the Panthers had their sticks up, and they were able to steal that one with Rikers. And Bollinger leaving the goal for a little bit, trying to set up the offense. Got to get rid of it, though, as he is able to get rid of that one to start off this Panthers possession. And they are going to start off with Kennedy, looking for someone to pass to, finds Voman. As Voman just taking his time, jogging up the field, getting close to the attacking zone here already.
Good movement. Good movement from the Panthers. And for the Panthers, you're already 3-0 on the year, right? You won the first game against Cal. Well, that game is close on paper. I could say, as someone who was a witness to that game, that was a game where Chapman was just kind of really starting to play a little too loose there by the end. You know, that score really doesn't tell the whole story of that game. Chapman really did have control of that game against Cal, the majority of it. But, then you go to the other game, they win a big game against Cal Poly, dominance. That ball goes high. Here's a ground ball you can win.
And let's see who comes up with this one. And that is going to be Voman, who gets hit there again. As you've been saying, the physicality of this game, we've seen a lot of players getting hit in the helmet so far, and good thing they are wearing helmets with the way this game's been going so far.
But you know what? To be honest, I'm very surprised at how much more dominant Chapman is motivational-wise than Minnesota. Obviously, Chapman's motivated. They know who they are. They want to win every single game. But I did expect Minnesota to come out with a little bit more fire after the game that they had last year against these guys. But right now, I think it's just showing right now. Chapman is just, they're playing on another level. This team in sync. And that's also due to what I was starting to get to about, they won against Cal Poly following that Cal game, right? They won 14-5.
As Worth goes in for the score. And that's another player now for the Panthers with multiple goals. Jack Worth with the hat trick now in the first half. Oh, and look at this. The bench press on the sideline. You got to get the workout in mid-game, You got to keep the body loose.
One more rep. Yeah.
You got a lot of reps
right there, man.
Right there. That was Jack Duffy getting those reps in.
Hey, that was good form, too. That was really good form. I mean, it's the speed of the Panthers that's actually impressing me the most. Every single player is a mismatch speed-wise. They're able to get around the edge. Here's a face-off that the Panthers look like they should win, and they do win it. It's very impressive how quick they're flying down the field. And now at this point, when you're leading 10-0, this is a perfect opportunity. Chapman has a deep roster. Start letting in some other guys here, giving them opportunities. Start to see if you can find some diamonds in the rough here deeper into the roster and feel like, okay, maybe these are guys that we can rely on later in the season as well. But as I was mentioning, as it looks like there's a close opportunity.
To Cavan, and a great save there by Rostad. Able to get that one, but the Panthers able to get it back with Newworth Stratton.
Yeah, smart reset. Just find your time. We have a couple numbers out there who we haven't seen at the beginning of the game. It's an opportunity for the other Panthers. But then here's the biggest thing. They won 2 games, handled the second one. Then UC Santa Barbara was really seen as a trap game, right? Those are games, you catch, you're feeling yourselves 2-0. You're going against a team who's been struggling a little bit. That's like you feel like, oh, yeah, we got this. The team could come out a little bit lackluster in those situations. But Chapman won that game. They won the trap game 6-5. That says a lot about their character and who they are this year. And look at this now. Following that 6-5 win, look at where they are right now. Standing at 10-0 with 38 seconds left in the first half. My goodness.
And something to keep an eye on, too, for the Gophers. And I mentioned earlier that the Panthers are 3rd ranked in the entire country. The Gophers had some votes to be in that top 25 last week. So this team is not a bad team. by any means coming in to this game here. Already down 10-0. They did just call a timeout. So for the Gophers, hopefully you get one last possession before halftime. Just try to get one goal up on that board for motivation coming into the break and entering the second half.
But it does show the difference of something. You know, the Gophers are not a bad team. Not at all, right? But there is levels to strength for teams, right? It shows the difference between a third-ranked team in the nation like the Chapman Panthers compared to a team who's trying to push the top 25. In the end, there is a difference between the top 5 and the rest of the league. And it's showing right here where it stands out. That's exactly, and that's a good thing for the Chapman Panthers. They're winning a game, right now they're currently winning a game that they know they should win. They know exactly what kind of team they are. They know what level they're playing at. They don't stoop down to their opponent's level. Again, as I mentioned, that trap game against UC Santa Barbara, they win the trap game. Then they come home against Minnesota, a team that would want revenge against the Chapman Panthers. And look what they did, right? They're up to a 10-0 lead right now. They're playing at a high intensity. They're not slouching for nobody on that schedule.
No, and you can't do that. When you're a top team in the country, there's no excuses. There's nothing that is stopping you from really getting back to where you were in that national semifinal, and this year getting over that hump and winning that championship game.
And that's the thing, too, for the Chapman Panthers. One thing I have to say, too, when you're a top team in the league, you're going to get every team's best, right? You're going to get every team's – everyone wants to take down the top dogs. They want to take down the big dogs. But Chapman Panthers, you know, so you're going to get everyone's best, but the Chapman Panthers are giving their best every week and showing everyone why, yeah, we're up to number 3 for a reason.
As the Gophers here half possession, looking to run down the clock, trying to win the ground ball. Let's see who's going to get it.
Aggressive move by Bollinger, moving outside the goal to try to win this ground ball.
As they're able to get it with Van Newton there. And no good on the shot by Carlson.
Bollinger, my goodness, can you just do it all? Look at this guy, man. This guy goes outside the goal, tries to win the ground ball, is able to reset in time, stand in front of the goal,
and that one's no
word.
word.
Miscue on the shot.
And the Panthers looking to recover. Carlson fighting for it, and that is going to end the half right there as the Panthers are going to take a 10-0 lead going into the break as no team was able to corral that final ground ball going in to the half. As some key things to take note of in that first half, 2 players with hat tricks with Jack Worth and Luke Morissette. What are some reasons as to why both of those players have been able to have such an amazing impact throughout these first 30 minutes?
I mentioned it before, speed. They like the mismatches. Again, lacrosse, a game of mismatches. You feel like, oh, yeah, I got an advantage against this opponent. You know what I mean? I feel like I could get around him. That's exactly what they're doing. Once they feel like they get the one-on-one opportunity, it's just one move, take the lane, fire away. And that's exactly what the Panthers are doing. They're getting their lanes. They're finding open shots. They're using their speed to an advantage, which is clearly a big differential in comparison to Chapman and Minnesota.
And what are some things that you think the Gophers can take into this halftime little break right here and to try to dig themselves out of this hole?
Maybe, you know, at least you're winning the ground ball battle. But, you know, for the big thing for Minnesota right now, slow down the game. We're going to move to the first half highlights as we see exactly how this all broke down. But for the Gophers, you know, just don't try to get it all back in one play. You want to slowly make a comeback. As you can see, the first dive attempt there. But this is it. Look at that speed. Right around the edge. Find the one-on-one matchup. I'm taking this myself. Boom. Finds the lane situation. That's exactly what the Panthers have been doing. It's a one-man game out here. ISO ball, as you'd like to put it. If you want to do, I know you're a big basketball guy, so I'll do your little comparison to basketball. Isolations. Great passing. First of all, that was a fantastic save, you know, for Minnesota. But the Panthers, it's passing and it's matchups. Bollinger, he's been my MVP so far early in this game. Bollinger has done a fantastic job at saving the goals, but also staying in position. Because you know what? Even the shots that are miscued, off to the right, off to the left, they go a little high. That is because Bollinger's there. You know, if it's an open goal, most of these players, in practice, they'll hit every single open goal if you give them that, right? But because there's a player in there, it forces them to have to overthink a little bit. Oh, I got to put it in this right corner because he's a little emphasized to the left. But Bollinger's covering up the entire goal. Forces a shot to go high, a little off, a little miscue.
Right, and again, Bollinger has been making such a big impact that the Gophers have barely been able to touch the ball at all. And you were saying that you only counted 3 shots on goal.
That was in the first quarter.
For the Gophers. So do we have an update on that total?
Well, I'll tell you what, it got close to 10. That's something. But biggest thing there is the face-offs, man. The Gophers aren't winning the face-offs. And I said this before. Lacrosse is a big game that could get out of hand. All of a sudden, you know, you score a goal for the Panthers, right? Then you win the face-off. It's like, oh, my goodness, I got another possession. I can score again. If my offense is in rhythm, it could literally be the one sport where it's an onslaught consistently. Because no matter what, when you score, you have a chance of getting the ball back. So that's why the face-offs are so huge. And the Chapman Panthers have been winning that battle. They score, they get the face-off, they get another possession. The offense just continues to find the rhythm. The Gophers haven't been able to touch the ball on offense, so they can't find their rhythm. They haven't been able to get their shooters good shots.
You're exactly right about that. And coming into halftime, the Panthers have a 10-0 lead over the Gophers. We're going to take a quick halftime break here. Make sure to stay tuned for the second half here on the CSBN YouTube channel. 10-0 lead Panthers. We'll be back for some second half action. Chapman Panthers men's lacrosse. Stay tuned.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. Still in the show, that's the crook in me. They want me gone with the hook in me. Asking why is he here like I shouldn't be. I've been on grind since I old. 10,000 hours the motto. They see the bag is coming out, they flocking to me like I won the lotto. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Thought they was scheming and said adios. Get it, don't mindset. Ay, back with a vengeance, back on the grinds, back to the business. Ay, God is my witness, they watching my moves like shows they binging. Ay, best keep distance, all of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness, no I don't need no assistance. Oh, yeah, no playing it safe. I said let's get it, you say not today. What can I say? If you ain't gon' go for it, get out the way. Got no time to waste. Can't be with me if you're not at my pace. You're not at my level, you're not in my race. One foot on the gas, I'm pushing the brakes. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Thought they was scheming and said adios. I gotta get it, don't mindset.
Shot still missed us. I will never give up. If I bleed it, then I'm gonna see it chop. 10 toes down, never switched up. Took your best shot, still missed us. 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 And I swear I put my life on it. Can't believe Blue grew from the stripe up.
And welcome back to the second half coverage of Chapman men's lacrosse for the Panthers versus the Gophers. 10-0 lead here so far, as we have a special interview here at halftime. We have our sideline reporter, Annie Gopher, with head coach Joel Callis. Annie, take it away.
So I'm here with the head coach of Chapman. What do you think went well for you in the first half? What do you think that was the key? Because you're obviously way ahead.
We definitely dominated possession. A lot of the ground balls, ensuring that we keep that possession there. We're taking care of the ball on clears, and we're finishing every single shot pretty much that we're taking. We're getting a lot of resets on the shot clock, which is helping us maintain possession as well.
Yeah, I did notice a lot of the play has been on our offensive side. So if anything, do you want to improve for the next half to keep this win streak going?
We definitely want to make sure that we keep running our systems. Don't get out of what we are trying to achieve within our team concepts. If we get outside of our team concepts, then that's going to follow into the next game. So we're just trying to maintain, all right, play our game, and everything will fall. We reward the guys who make the play that hits 2 passes away. So we're trying to focus on that to make sure we maintain the solid lead that we've gotten here.
Yeah, well, good luck for the rest of the game. Hope it goes great for you guys. Let's send it back up to the booth.
Thank you, Annie, and thank you, Coach Joel, for taking time out of the game to do the interview. Coach Joel, one of the coaches, many coaches here who loves what we do over here at CSBN, and we love him. He's been such a great help. He sent us an amazing and well-worded email with some amazing information about the team going into tonight's game. But coming into the second half, what are some things on the Gophers side of things that they can try to adjust to hopefully keep the Panthers, from their perspective, scoreless in this quarter? Because I think they have to if they want to win.
If you're the Gophers, it's doing exactly the opposite of what the Chapman Panthers, intend to do, and you got to go against exactly what Coach Joel just mentioned. You know what he wanted? What he wanted to improve on in the second half? He wanted to keep doing what he was doing. He wanted to keep not getting out of any of his system, the setups that they got. The way they're weaving their offense around, they want to keep winning the time possession. So if you're the Gophers, it's doing the opposite of that, and it starts literally right here, first play of the game, face-off to start the second half. You have to win this. Win the time possession. Get the Panthers off of rhythm. Start to lose a bit of the matchup game that they've been winning so far.
And Allers has been amazing on the face-offs, and on the contrary for the Gophers, Carson Brockenauer has not necessarily done well there in this face-off. And look at this, Allers again to start off the second half. Just amazing as Ursino comes out of the pack with it.
Time possession is the story of the game of lacrosse, as Coach Joel mentioned already. And the Panthers are just enjoying the time that they got. They are in control of the hourglass.
As we have Worth doing a little spin cycle on the referee there, back to Voman.
Yeah. Hey, ain't no one safe out there.
No one's safe. Anyone can get their ankles broken at any time. You always got to stay ready and stay aware. As Reginelli, who had 2 early goals, looking to recapture that magic. Reginelli with a little state and bake right there. Reginelli.
He's trying to get around. Look at those little stop moves, everything like that. Showing the speed of the Panthers.
Back to Morissette. Out to Voman. Out to Worth. Cavan, as Rosted comes out of the pack with it. Rosted again with an amazing save, and that was something that his confidence needed right there.
A much better start to the second half for Rosted than it was in his first half.
As the Gophers look to have a good possession here, as that is going to be Guthrie with the ball there. Back to Millett. Millett taking his time here. Millett, again, he has 8 goals on this season, but the Panthers have done such a good job really taking him out of this game.
No, you're seeing 2 very contrasting defenses with the Panthers and Minnesota's defense. How well the Panthers are containing. They double team when they need to, but they don't ever find themselves really out of position, ever.
And Millett trying to come in. He's going to pass it out to Van Newston. And the Panthers are going to be able to get that ground ball with Worth.
Covering the passing lanes.
He gets checked right there.
Hey, but he stood on his 2 feet, so that, in the end, I didn't do much. That just showed his strength.
As the Panthers looking to get it, and there is going to be a flag there. And that, you know what that reminded me of, actually, that last hit? That reminded me of LSU Leonard Fournette right there. If you know, you know. Go back and watch the tape there. As for the Panthers, McDonald unable to score there.
Shoot,
We're gonna have a quick timeout.
I'm you know, it's cool doing these other sport comparisons, but I'll just make the comparison. You know what that look like? That looked like Jack Worth right there on the field that we just saw right there. In the end, he doesn't need to make any other comparisons other sports. Jack Worth showed his strength on that play. That shows the work that they put in the weight room, the time and effort, the speed combined with the strength. He's able to take a hit like that, stay on his 2 feet, stand his ground, keep the possession going. Big show for what this Panthers team is.
It is. It shows their toughness. It shows their willingness to do whatever it takes to win here. And for the Gophers, they've been a little more physical on the defensive end so far, and I think Coach Gosen has really liked that so far.
Yeah. No, it's a great job what they're doing. But, see, I'm going to move over to Minnesota. Minnesota already lost the possession. They lose the face-off. At this point now, I know I mentioned, you can't get it all back in one possession. You don't want to speed yourself up, right? You want to take your time. At 10-0 right now in the third quarter, and your offense hasn't shown any sign of movement, it's time now to play like you got nothing to lose. You got to start playing with a little bit of an over-aggression because time really is running out on the clock. That hourglass, it's flipped over. The sand is falling, and if you can't stop it at any point, it's going to be over.
That's very true, as Morissette trying to come in there and back out. And that is going to be no good by Cavan, hitting the bottom post right there. But what I'm going to say to your point is you have one shot, one opportunity. Are you going to capture it or just let it slip, in the words of Eminem? Okay. And we're getting to that point already here for the Gophers.
Shit, my bad. Shoot, my bad, Slim.
Hey, it's a legendary song. It's a legendary song right there. As the Panthers looking to get this one. And that is going to go out of Brugman's stick, and they're going to be unable to save that one there with Walker. And the Gophers are going to take possession. And the Gophers, again, need to get something going. It feels like we've been saying the same thing for the last quarter and a half, but they have to.
12 minutes left, and that's not a pass that you want to have right there in that moment. You don't want to take the long passes. You don't want to try to shoot from that far out.
As Melton is going to give that back to McDonald. Back out to Worth. Again, Worth able to just take his time here.
Yeah. So if you're the Panthers, your advantage is the fact that you have an 80-second shot clock. Run that down every chance you get. That is running down so much time off the clock. And there's a flag down. Again, the way that they're letting the possession keep going as well, that shows that this is a defensive flag, so it's a free possession before you get a penalty possession.
Bowman, who's going to get the goal there, the key player, getting his first goal of the game. What's the celebration looking like? They're not going to go too crazy on the celebration here yet, because they get another possession here. Back-to-back goals, though. They may have a even crazier celebration.
Well, you know what, too, though? You've already done enough celebrating, man. You're up 11-0 at this point. And right now, every goal that you get for the Chapman Panthers, it's just for Minnesota, it just feels like that mountain is continuing to rise and feels a little bit more insurmountable. You can tell in the body language, you can tell in the energy. It's just starting to demoralize them. For the Chapman Panthers, you just don't stop. You just keep it going. Keep playing your game. Keep winning the time possession. Here we go with the face-off. Let's see who wins it.
And the Panthers are going to get that one. It took a second there, but the Panthers able to get it with Adlers again.
Yeah, Adlers, he did a great job there, actually. Instead of trying to win the ball itself, he decided to play a box-out game, let his teammate pick up the face-off.
McDonald back to Worth. Worth, again, able to just really take his time to survey the defense, read the defense, and make the proper pass and play. But that's going to go off Brugman's leg, but Worth is going to be able to get back.
Keep the clock ticking.
That one
passes.
Quickly.
Don't force anything that would be too out of position.
Back to Voman. Cavan into McDonald, and he's going to miss that one.
And if you want to notice something different, Minnesota now, they used to play where they actually had one of their midfielders playing on the offensive side, sitting on the far offensive side, making it 4 people there. But
we have another ground ball opportunity here, and And Brewing is going to be able to pick that one up and set the possession here for the Gophers.
I hate putting pressure on so many possessions, but this is it type of situation right here. If you can't get your offense going at this point with 10 minutes left in the third, good luck. At this point, you need to just try to contain. Oh, good move.
And they're going to not get a shot there. What a play from Rikers as the Panthers able to get it back with Kennedy. But we're going to get a whistle.
Yeah, Kennedy took a pretty big fall there, and that was off the spin move.
And let's see what they're going to call. We have an injured Panther down on the field as everyone taking a knee, which is not something that you like to see, but it's also a sign of respect. So we will see who this injured player is for the Panthers.
Yeah, one thing that hurts about, seeing that it looked like it was a bit of a leg injury. He's trying to right now work on the extension of the leg. And in a game of lacrosse, it's very hard on the knees. You're cutting, you're planting your legs, you're kind of being put in off positions. So it's just trying to make sure that hopefully his leg's okay. They're trying to extend it around, try to see if they can move it. And the last thing you'd want to see in this type of game, in this situation, you're already up 11, and to see one of your top dogs get hurt like this, that would not be great for the Chapman Panthers.
No, it would not be. But you were saying early on that the deep roster that the Panthers have, and that's going to be able to come into play here with this injury, most likely, unless if he will stay in the game, which is yet to be determined.
Well, yes, but even if which he's luckily getting up on his own power, coach is helping him. He's trying to extend that right knee, just trying to get it going. McDonald, hopefully, it looks like he's going to be helped off with his coaches, which is a great sign. I love to see that the head coach is out there, ready to help them. But, even if he is cleared to return in a situation like this where you're up 11-0, it's not particularly a moment where you're like, let's put him back in. You're up 11-0. The game is in your control. You don't want to force him to be put in any awkward situation in a game that really is now at this point just doesn't have as much of a factor in the current moment.
We're definitely right about that there, as the Gophers are going to start off with possession with Nuss behind the goal.
But back in the game here, 70 seconds on the shot clock, and I mentioned this is the possession. We're just now under 10 minutes left in the third quarter, and the Gophers have shown no sign of life whatsoever. You got to have a little bit of fight left.
As Millet, that one is going to be way off there, and they do still have fight, but the way their offense plays, it seems like it's only a matter of time, but that time is dwindling rapidly here for the Gophers. As we now have Van Peterson back with possession. He's got Carlson, and a good stop there, and let's see who's going to get it. The Panthers are going to come up with that one with Kennedy recovering yet again.
Story of the game, the switches of possessions, and look at this, Panthers moving quick down the field offensively.
Again, going on one of those fast break type of plays there. Ursino, though, going to slow it down.
Good play by Nico, just holding it back. Don't want to try to force yourself out of position.
Because that is Seabree with it, going to get it to Ronan. Out to Kelly. Back out to Seabree.
Good movement. They're running that shot clock down very good.
And the Panthers now looking to get a shot off here soon. Back out to Ronan. Ronan making his move. And he gets pushed from the back, and there will be no flag called there. And the steal made by Becky Gallipo there.
Minnesota work in transition, try to score quickly. We have a couple sub-ins as well for the Panthers. Beasley subbing in, the sophomore. He's a midfielder. Doesn't have much on the stat sheet right now except, the 4 ground balls that he's picked up in this game, but he does have 16 career goals, and he did win all freshman honors in 2023, so just last year.
So, again, a player that does have experience coming in for these Panthers in this moment.
And this is, again, it's a good opportunity to find your guys, you know, find someone who's like, okay, wait, you can be an asset to us later in the season in the big games. You know, you can be an impact player, an X factor. We need to give you more time. So for these players too, it's their opportunity to put their name out there to the coach.
As Wilkinson got that recovery, but Ursino now with it. Ursino looking for Morissette, who had 3 goals in the first half, and that's going to be a goal there for the Panthers. Adam McDonald for his first of the game. 12-0 lead for the Panthers. Around halfway done here in this third quarter.
Adam McDonald, he was an X factor in the game against UCSB. He in the 6-5 win. He scored 2 goals in that game. Freshman, 5'10", 160, quick on his feet, great passing. But I think one thing you got to see there too, if we have the highlight for that, is what a great shot that was in his hesitation. He did a little bit of a pump fake, and it looked so minor, but it was enough to make the goalie commit one way, and then he went low.
Those pump fakes are very, very effective, as New Stratton able to come up with that.
Yeah, and if you're able to have that much stick control to where you're able to still keep the ball right in your possession while still doing a bit of a move, so impressive, so good to do.
You know, that takes a lot of feel, I would say, in order to do that right there.
It
As
does
out to
indeed.
Reginelli. Reginelli looking to set the offense. Reginelli
Good
with
move.
a little stop and go there. Reginelli not going to go for it. Out to Cavan, who's going to get that one to go. Cavan's second goal of the game. 13-0 lead, Panthers.
My goodness. I love what the Panthers are doing, though, too. You know, in the end, just because you have a big lead does not mean you stop the momentum that you got going. You keep your foot on the gas. You give Minnesota no room to breathe. And at this point, my goodness, you're up 13-0. It's the passing, too. Look at that movement right around. It allowed the wraparound shot. But Minnesota is just a little bit too slow to the passes. They're a little bit delayed in their reactions. And with the Panthers' speed, you just can't afford that. You see a little bit of kickball there as you see trying to win the ground ball.
Hey, you got to do whatever you can at this point if you're the
should.
Gophers. But something to keep an eye out, too, on that last goal was Rostad kind of misread, as you were saying, the passes. He misread the shot, too, because the other side of the goal was left completely wide open.
Yeah.
As Cavan was just able to slightly float that right over his stick and in.
God, that loop around move has been working so well for the Panthers, hasn't it?
It has. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So,
if it's not broke,
so
don't
they
fix it.
don't have to. And it's definitely been paying dividends for the Panthers all night long. They may as well be listening to Lionel Richie the way it's been going all night long. As we have Brewing. Brewing is not going to get that one to go, as Bollinger again able to save that one. Bollinger has had his hands all on this game.
I don't believe that was Bollinger, actually. That was the defender on the other side. You can see the way he's lined up. Troy Kennedy, his formation right there. That was his tip on the defensive side. But if you saw the way the formation lined up, you have Bollinger's in front of the goal. Troy Kennedy decided to line up right around the goal. So his job was to protect the wraparound. But good adjustment by Troy, noticing that the ball was going from the front side and there was probably going to be a shot taken from there. Moved in front, blocked the shot.
As Brewing unable to get that one there, as that hit off the back. of the
Hanamoto.
Panther. Yeah, Hanamoto there.
Great job, sophomore, defensive player. He's got 4 ground balls picked up this season.
More set into McDonald. Cavan unable to get a couple of trick shots to go there, as Rostad easily had time to get to that.
I like the idea, though, by Kevin, when that ball was rolling on the ground, try to get a little bit of a hockey hit off there.
Hey, you know, you go for it. If the ball's near you, you got to go for the shot. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
5:15 on the clock. You know, and at this point, I like what the Panthers are doing with the sub-ins, keeping fresh legs, checking out the new players. Seeing how these players, it's also, too, not just seeing these players get new playing time, but it's seeing how they mesh together. You know, if you figure out, like, these 2 players, you know what? They actually got great chemistry. That shot was off the top.
As the Panthers look to recover that with New Stratton, yet again, the Panthers have been doing a much better job recovering these ground balls here in the second half.
Yeah, great job. They've actually been winning the ground ball battle in the second half, which is exactly the opposite of what you wanted from Minnesota.
And
that was a great
good
pass.
there from McDonald. I thought he had that one. He just rushed the shot there a little bit.
Yeah,
we have
just
we have the Gophers now back on possession.
That's a perfect way of putting it. He just rushed the shot a little bit. He tried to get it off. A little too much in time. Panthers stealing possessions back. It's just Minnesota is demoralized at this point. You can see it in the way they're moving on the field.
I mean, and it's not.
Minnesota just needs a goal, a break, something that can give them a break.
As Worth looking to set the offense here. We're going to have some substitutions coming from the Panthers as Voman comes back in.
Smartly.
And Reginelli, yet again, coming back in. Some of the stars for the Panthers throughout the night. Voman working one-on-one. He is working against McCarthy. Voman going all the way for the score. 14-0 lead, Panthers. It's been too easy. It's been too easy on offense for the Panthers all night long.
Yeah, there's a speed difference out there. But it's not. It's now all of a sudden you have new players who are coming in, players who don't get as much playing time, and they're having success on the offensive side right now. Everything is going the right way for the Panthers. Josh Voman, that's his 5th goal of the year. He's had a total of 38 games played in his career, 22 career goals, now make that 23. And also, I got to mention, for Voman, he's an applied human physiology major. Smart guy.
He is a smart guy. Shout out to our very own applied human physiology major, Justin Lee, here.
Who'll be calling the game on Sunday.
Club. Yes, he will. He'll be calling the game against USC. Make sure to stay tuned for that one. But the Gophers now are able to get back possession. And for the Gophers, they need to just get something going here in terms of offense, even if it doesn't result in the goal, just to know that you can run your planned sets or unplanned movements properly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to quickly get into the attacking front here.
Flag down. Free possession.
This is very important here. It seems like that the Gophers are going to get another possession, but a great steal there and the recovery, but the Gophers will get it back based off of the flag call.
Jack Worth, man. This dude's scoring on offense and making stops on defense. I seen that tip-off right there. I think that was also Leander who was there on the play. It was a great job by the defense.
Rikers as well was near that, too.
Yeah, it was a great job by the defense, though. They were able to knock that ball out. And that was a clear shot opportunity. That was probably the most out of position you might have ever seen Bollinger in this game so far. That was a perfect shot opportunity, and that's where this team is so good, because when one person might be out of the position, someone else is right there to pick it up.
As Nuss trying to run after this one, but he will not, as the Panthers going to take possession here. And something that Lacrosse actually does is they keep extra balls near the field of play, just so that there's no extra delays, which is really nice.
Well, yeah, it's the ball itself, it has a high bounce. It can travel very well, right? So when throws are off and shots are off, there's no net behind the goalies to keep that from going too far out. So that's why they have to have a lot of balls laid out. They have them all over the sidelines as well as the back of the end zone.
As Worth looking to set up the offense here, getting hit there a few times, but able to take them as we've seen. Is Reginelli looking to use his speed, because he's only 1 goal away from a hat trick. We would have another Panther with a hat trick if he's able to get one by the end of this game. Reginelli.
I would make multiple players with hat tricks. That's a great offensive performance. I mean, the Panthers have already scored the most goals that they have all season. Tied it right now with Cal Poly Slow. When they won that game 14-5, they're at 14-0, and this is in the 3rd quarter.
And that's something that's pretty big for these Panthers, because we were talking about in our pre-show how the Panthers have been more of a defensive team here to start off the season, but now that they've got the offense clicking, especially tonight, this team's going to be dangerous. They already are, but they're going to be even more dangerous now that the offense is clicking, along with the elite defense that we've seen all throughout the season.
I mean, most definitely, this is their perfect game happening right now in the current moment. Both sides in sync, running perfect.
And that's definitely a successful formula that they need to follow. Is brewing, and Bollinger able to hit that one back yet again, prepared for the Gophers attack.
Yeah, you can't stop this guy.
No, he's just built different, as we would say. Like, there's nothing that you can do on him, and he was ready for that one as well. And Bollinger gets a replacement stick there from the official. Again, it's very important for all players to have these working sticks, especially Bollinger, because he has to move at such a fast rate. And now the Gophers with possession, trying to get on the board here in the final 35 seconds of this third quarter. Good defense there by Orsino and Kennedy.
Oh, good move.
Good move, but Bollinger, look at that, able to just catch it in his stick there for the final 25 seconds. Morris to Orsino, looking to try to maybe get a buzzer beater goal here before the quarter ends.
Yeah, 15 seconds left. Push the pace. Nico's great at setting up offensive opportunities.
Back to Walker. Walker trying to put the spin move on, but he's getting clobbered right now. Great physical defense there by McCarthy, as that will be the end of the third quarter with a 14-0 lead here for the Panthers entering the final 15 minutes. And if you're the Gophers, what's the mindset in this fourth quarter? What are you trying to get out of it?
Well, at this point, it's just trying to take anything positive away. If you could score 3 goals, if you could score 4 goals in this last quarter, it's something to at least hang your hat on and be like, okay, this is who we are. This is what we need to bring out all full 4 quarters of the game. It's how well they can finish this fourth quarter. It's something that they can hang on.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely very important for them. But we have George McGurk ready on the sidelines with our sideline reporter, Annie Gelfer. Annie?
McGurk.
You know, just a little rocky, but we just start dialing it in, finish strong. I think if we do that, we'll be good.
Yeah. So how do you think the team has developed since you've left?
I mean, I think they've developed great. We have a bunch of really good young guys that are really coming up. You know, I think for the remainder of the season, we'll see, you know, how much they can get out of it, and I think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Anything else you want to say about this season or your past time on the team?
No, love the team, love the school. I hope I'll stay for quite a few more years.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. This has been George McGurk, and back to you up there in the booth.
Thank you so much, Andy. Again, George McGurk was such a big star for these Panthers last year, and it's great to see that he's around the team. He's able to share his wisdom with a lot of the young players that have come in and have been absolutely amazing for them so far this year.
Shows the leadership of this team. You know, guy likes to be out there, likes to be supporting his team, even if it is just in a sweater and sweats. It's awesome to see how much this team loves each other.
Hey, but he's got the Chapman drip on, though, so you know we always got to respect that. Back to Kennedy. Panthers looking to start off this quarter strong. And a flag has been thrown, and it will be on the Gophers based off of this ruling. As Jack Worth, again, looking to set the pace here out to Voman. Voman has 2 defenders in front and behind him, so he's got to play smart here. Able to get around. Voman has an opportunity out to Worth. Worth. And that is right into the stick of the goalie. And for Minnesota, we have a new goalie into the game here.
Yeah.
And that is going to be Brooks Blusk to be in here, as he's only appeared in 1 game so far, has no saves and no goals given up. So valuable experience for the freshman right now.
Yeah, it's a chance to really see what he's got in this moment. He has a save percentage right now of 66.67, which is really good in lacrosse, above 60%. Or my apologies, that is actually the other goalie, Arson, who actually isn't out there. But Brooks right now, 0 playing time at the moment. So this is really like a true chance to get him raw experiences. I mean, talk about a tough team to do it against.
And
so
another goal there with Jack Worth, his 4th goal of the game. And I'll tell you what, that leadership class has certainly been paying off, as he's been looking confident, fluid, everything you want on the field 15-0 lead now for the Panthers.
I think it's more than just the leadership class, man. What this guy is doing out there, that speed, the strength he's showing, that's a lot to really how much they work in practice, their speed training, their weight training, keeping themselves at a high intensity pace. And Nico with a great ground ball to win there.
And the Panthers again recover the faceoff, a little bit of an errant pass, but they're able to start possession. That was a great stick check right there, a great legal stick check as well, might I add.
And it's very similar. You see the passing that the Panthers did even just right up there at the top. When I had my interview with Nico, he talked about that triangle drill. Picking up ground ball, toss it to the next. Pick up the ground ball, toss to the next. Drills like that, well, it may just seem like, oh, it's just simple tosses and throws. It works your fundamentals. It creates good habits. That's exactly what they need come game time.
And practice makes perfect, as I say, and that certainly has been the case here for the Panthers tonight as they look to add on to this lead. And that was a good reaction there by Blusk, already able to alter these shots as Kevin comes out with this one for another possession.
Great job by Cap. I mean, the Panthers have actually done a great job being the closest to the sidelines, winning those possessions back even after the missed shots.
And that's a very important part of lacrosse that I think gets a little bit overlooked. You have to be near those sidelines for those balls to go over the goal.
Yeah, and it's all about positioning. Good movement right there.
Great move by Walker, able to stay on his feet. He's hitting the head, but it doesn't matter. And that is to Reginelli, out to McDonald, and that is going to be no good just off to the side. Why not? Why not go for a trick shot?
Yeah.
Trick shots make the game more fun.
But what I like, again, so as I go back to another point for the positioning and winning the balls when they go out to the sidelines, that's exactly what Chapman mentioned. It's just that's what their offense is about. It's about positioning, setting up in areas. They make sure they always do have a guy who might be closest to the sidelines following a missed shot. Always a guy standing right behind the goal off a missed shot so that when that ball goes out, they are still the closest one to that ball. They get a second shot opportunity, still get the possession.
And able to get that one back is Kevin Morissette. And the wide open goal for McDonald. 16-0 lead for the Panthers as Blusk made a little bit of a freshman mistake there on that one.
Yeah, I would say I probably don't like the idea of him being like overly aggressive in that moment, especially on a fast break. At that point, you just got to keep your hips square, keep your feet moving, see if you can close off a shooting lane, try to see if you can get lucky at some point. But moving outside the goal, trying to play a really risky game like that, like he did right there, trying to move out to try to stop the pass, probably not the best idea, especially when you got shooters like Chapman and McDonald who was able to make a big-time play.
Yeah, and for the face-off, we have Cody Shovelson now in there for the Panthers. And the ground ball, who's going to get it? It's going to be Kennedy who comes out with it. Kennedy has a wide-open path right now, but the Gophers are starting to close in as that's going to go through the legs of Morissette. Just a little bit low there on the pass.
Bit of a miscue. Just a little bit of a miscue. It's all right, though. You live with it.
Now that's okay. When you're up 16-0, it's okay to try to be a little bit more over-aggressive and to try out new things.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. Try new things. See what kind of systems work. See, formations. Trying to put players in different spots. See what works now at this point. This is a perfect opportunity to be playing. Basically, it's a full-speed practice. It's a chance to try out new things. See what you can find. Because look, I don't want to be that guy, but 16-0, this game is pretty much over.
Hey, we never know. As LeBron James says, that game's not over till the clock hits double zeros. So we do have to see here as the Gophers trying to get a shot. They will, but look at that. Bollinger yet again is saving the shot from Carlson.
Tell you one thing, LeBron James has never seen a guy like Bollinger playing goalie. When you got a guy like that playing in the goalie position for the Chapman Panthers, it don't matter what LeBron says. If you're up 16-0 in the fourth quarter with the goalie like that, it's over.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. You never know. Crazy things can happen here. And the Panthers, that's going to be Seabury.
So again, for Minnesota, in the game that's 16-0, it's just finding some things to hang your hat on. Find the good possessions. Find the good defensive moments that you have left in this fourth quarter. Hang your hat on it. Truly, it's the little victories that you'll take in this moment.
Is Cavan going back out there to Seabury. Seabury looking. He had McDonald, but chooses not to go there. Chooses to go to Morissette. and McDonald's shot's going to be off target there.
I would have liked the first pass to McDonald, too. I would have liked that first pass to McDonald. I think McDonald was in a great position, and it wasn't just the fact of where he was, it was where the defenders were as well.
They have another possession here again, being closest to the sideline is Cavan trying to set the offense. Goes back.
Shot clock running
Out to
down. It's under
Ronan.
5 seconds. Got to take a shot.
Ronan trying to get a good shot off. Going to pass it, and that shot is no good there by Kelly. But again, had to take the shot, like you said, with under 5 seconds left on the clock.
Shot clock violation. You live with that. I actually do like the idea of what kind of shot he took there, though. Like one of those ground bouncing balls shot right into the goal. It could be very deceptive to a goalie if he overemphasizes the low shot.
And the Gophers now have possession. Again, looking to get on the board here in this fourth quarter. They will turn to Hurt to get this offense going. As Hurt taking his time right now, approaching 9 minutes left to go here in this one.
Yep, let the clock keep running. If you're Minnesota right here, the one thing I feel like they've lacked on is the good passing lanes. Continuing to move the ball around. You got to have players moving right now. All over the place, all over the field. Even the ones who aren't even close to the ball. Set up in position, see what you can generate. And Bollinger again.
Yeah, Bollinger easily able to get the saves. The Panthers are looking to get out and run, and they are going to get it to Reginelli. As Reginelli now is going to reset, slow down the pace. Changing up the sets here, it looks like, for the Panthers as some new players are coming across to the offensive side.
Yeah. You know, let in some new players, let them get experience. We have a new goalie in as well. Looks like it's a sophomore, Aiden Kelly, who's going to be subbing in for the Chapman Panthers.
And for the Panthers, Seabury. And that's a good thing at this point for these freshmen is Seabury going all the way, and he's going to pass it back out. Kelly now has it yet again. Going for a second shot, and it's going to be high again. No good.
This is awesome, though. All these freshmen who are in right now, these games do matter, especially to them. This is their first taste of experience for a lot of them. This is their first chance to hit the field, try to figure out the speed and the pace of what comes with college lacrosse.
And that's a very important thing, as you never know down the line in the season when your name may be called on to be an important player, potentially even in a national championship game.
Well, not even just this season, as that shot is going to be stopped. It's also for their future. You know, in the end, Bollinger's not going to be here this whole time, you know. At some point, he's going to have to go. At this point, a lot of these veteran players who make this team so good, they won't be here, you know. In college is only 4 years. They got degrees to get, jobs to get. So, you know, you started to develop those freshman class to make sure that once they leave, you have a transition of another elite set of players.
And they've had that this year, and they should look to have that throughout the next coming years with Coach Callis at head coach. But now the Gophers looking to get on the board here, just under 7 minutes left.
It's a great show of Coach Callis and how good he is as a coach to be able to continue to have continued success after losing play.
And that one is going to go in from Hofstad, the first goal of the game for the Gophers. 16-1 Panthers lead, and that was a big morale-boosting goal right there for them.
That was against Jack Duffy. It's his first time really getting playing experience from the goalie spot, of course, because Chapman, in the close games they've been in, they've always kept Bollinger in the entire game. So that's the first time Duffy's gotten a little bit of experience. It's all right. You live with it. Players are not expected. You shouldn't just expect a freshman or a rookie or anyone who's new to the game, at least at this speed, at this level, to just come in on the first play. You know, there's got to be learning curves. So it's just, for Duffy, you learn from it. You try to improve from it. Minnesota, you build off of what you just did right now.
Exactly right there. Couldn't have said that any better myself, but this ground ball has been going on for a long time here. Getting a little physical. We'll see who comes out of the pack with it. And it is going to be the Panthers with Morrison.
The way that ball was bouncing around, man. I feel like putting on the carnival music there. Da, 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 as the ball would just continue to keep on bouncing around all over the place. Great job, though, by the Panthers to win that ground ball. It's just, they have, didn't we mention how one thing that Minnesota could hang their hat on in this game was the ground balls and that they were winning that in the first half?
We were mentioning that at halftime,
and then, look what the Panthers do. They won't let Minnesota have nothing. They'll win the ground ball battle as well.
And the Panthers are going to win the possession battle here as well with another second opportunity with Reginelli being the closest to the sideline.
You want to know how much of a difference that makes? That missed shot is probably going to take off another 30 seconds just for that one possession. It's so important.
Back out to Ursino, who gets it.
Okay,
Top
Nico.
right. Nico Ursino, first goal of the game, 17-1 lead Panthers.
That's Nico's third goal of the year. And what a shot it was. Usually pushing off of the right side. The goalie expected a shot to go more to the left. He literally fit it right into the top right corner. It was a perfect shot onto the corner. What a goal it is for the young sophomore Nico.
That's
And
Ursino's.
that's just a guy you love to see have success like that.
It is. We love to see anybody have success, but especially with Nico being the great person that he is after the package that we aired earlier on in our broadcast. The Panthers now have possession. Again, looking to extend their lead even more back to Hanamoto.
Shout out to Kobe Shelvinson right there. He was the one on the face-off. You know, most of the time the face-off specialist was usually Cooper Adlers, that we've mentioned his name so many times. It's good that he got in there as a face-off specialist, start to give himself a little bit of playing time, a little bit of experience, get a little bit of, man, what's the word? Feel for the game?
Yeah, definitely he's getting his feel for the game. The whole entire Panthers roster has had elite feel on both sides. And that one is going to be
right on cue.
a goal there for Morrison. No, McDonald, rather, with the goal there. His third of the game, I believe, as well.
Yeah, his fifth of the year.
18-1 lead now for the Panthers.
Yeah, as I mentioned again for McDonald, he was also someone who was big in that UCSB game. He had 2 goals against them in the 6-5 win.
And as we see that one again, just able to reach over everyone and drop it in, kind of like a teardropper there.
And this guy is a broadcast journalism and documentary major.
Really? I haven't seen him.
Check this guy out, huh?
I need to. We got to
He's
get him on the broadcast.
Hey, he's a freshman, so you know, he's new to the Dodge College. I'm not a Dodge student, so I really can't say. Got to start looking for him, Josh, up in the campus.
I do. I got to start looking for him. We got to get him on a broadcast next semester. We got to get him broadcasting in the fall. As I'm sure he's making a great impact there. Whoa, what a fake out move right there. And that was by Folk.
That was a good shot from the outside. Duffy, just a little bit with the feet. He's got to keep it moving. Try to always keep his feet square. And it's a learning curve. So Minnesota's getting their late goals here with 4 minutes left. Panthers still, isn't it crazy? You know, you could say Minnesota just scored their second goal, and Panthers still have a 16-point lead. But you know, for Duffy, it's those learning curve experiences right now.
And again, they're going to win the face-off here.
Shelvinson again.
Are the Panthers. And that's what you love to see. That also reflects a lot on the teaching and mentorship of Adlers so far early on in this year.
Because, you know, you have a guy who will probably be succeeding him at some point. You know, you have Adlers who, he's a senior. He'll probably be gone by this next year unless he's a grad student returning. Shelvinson, he's going to be starting to take those face-offs probably starting next year. So it's great that he's getting these moments.
That's Reginelli. Going back out, going to reset the offense with Beasley. Beasley going all the way, and that's going to be underneath the stick of Reginelli.
Yep, and that's actually the first time, though, that Minnesota finally got the out-of-bounds advantage. One of the few times, at least. Definitely not the first, but one of the few times.
And that's definitely something that's been plaguing the Gophers throughout this entire game. And now back to Millett. Millett has been a non-factor. The Panthers have really been able to take him out of their game plan.
Yeah. No, it's really impressive how – remember we talked about this Minnesota offense? 72 total points going into the year. They only got 2 more points added to that statistic in this game. You know, only 2 goals. It's crazy how drastic of a difference. It's a flag down and a shot that goes off.
Yeah, that's going to be a third goal there for the Gophers. And now it's the moral wins that we were talking about. 3 goals in the fourth quarter. The offense was going to score at some point.
Yeah.
At some point, they were going to break through and get that one to go. And that goal right there was scored by Berger as he gets that goal in there. 18-3 now for the Panthers lead, just under 3 minutes left.
Yeah, it's something nice for them to keep in mind, when they travel back and play their next few games. It's looking at that fourth quarter and realizing, what did we do right there? Where do we, as the flag is down, it looks
That was definitely a
I was going to say,
good
for a
push
split
right
second, I was
there.
like, okay, we're just going to let that fly. I was like, okay, I
from
didn't know this was
Joe
how the fourth
Thomas
quarter
with
going.
a great push right there on Morrison.
I was like, okay, I didn't know we were letting a little bit more slide in the fourth quarter there. It was a big-time push. Great job, though, obviously from the ref for recognizing it. Now the Panthers get to keep their possession going.
As now for the Panthers on possession here, trying to get goal number 19 before this one winds down.
Just run the clock if you're the Panthers, run it down to full 64. Work on the passing, too. Really try to nail that down. Work in the passing lane, seeing what chemistry you can build. Again, a lot of freshmen out here, a lot of guys who haven't really seen the field a lot. This is a chance for not just them to get experience, but them to get experience with their teammates and those guys who are going to be with them for the next 4 years, right, following this season. So trying to get a feel for their speed, where they like to be placed, where they like their matchups, starting to get to know them a little bit.
As Carlson.
At game speed, at least. They know them in practice, of course.
Right, as Carlson working on Hamamoto, but a great save right there and team defense for the Panthers.
That's Lossie running right down the field with speed. This is his first experience as well, the freshman.
Trying to reset it here.
I'm starting to wonder, does this lacrosse team, do they run track out here?
Yeah, I mean, they might be.
What's the speed training out here? Because right now they're looking lightning fast compared to Minnesota. The way they're moving down the field. They're doing wickets or something. What they got going?
It's also long-running cardio. That's what it is. That's what it is. You have to be able to run at that speed for a long period of time, as that was another errant pass there by the Panthers.
Okay, Feinhersh. Let me know. I didn't know you knew so much about the running and the training that goes into it all.
No, but I'm just saying that cardio is very important if you're going to be playing any sport with a lot of running involved.
100%, especially lacrosse. Lacrosse and soccer are very similar in the sense of you're consistently moving. In football, you always talk about like, okay, you have a possession, then you get a huddle up, and it's kind of a stoppage in time for a split second. Basketball as well, there's many moments of stoppages, right? Lacrosse and soccer, very continuous sports. Sub-ins happen while the game is still moving. The ball was consistently moving up and down the field. Good save right there.
That was a good save there by Kelly. And that is a great play there by Hanamoto to get possession back with only 35 seconds left, trying to get a buzzer beater here to end the game.
I love that I'm seeing this. Hanamoto, he's listed as a defender, and he's played defense so many times. You see how far he came up there? So they were able to have a midfielder kind of stay back, almost take the spot of a defender just for a split second. Now they switch back. Hanamoto's moving back to defense because you do have to always have 3 people for the Chapman Panthers behind that midfield, no matter what.
Exactly right, and only 4 in the attacking zone, or else offsides will be called, which we have not seen here today. And the Panthers look like they're going to run down the final 10 seconds of this game here.
It's good.
Show some sportsmanship with Reginelli just standing behind the goal there. The refs got the whistle ready. They're going to start shaking hands early, and that's going to do it. The Panthers improve to 4-0 on the season, as they will take on USC on a Sunday after this 18-3 victory. That being their first in division in SLC competition as well. But for this one, 18-3 victory with multiple players having hat tricks. Now, what were some of the things that went well for the Panthers? If you could pick a few, because a lot of things were going well tonight.
Man, that's a tough question. If I could pick a few, I could talk about literally the entire game. That was quite literally a perfect game for the Chapman Panthers on both sides. But if I were to pick a few, the biggest thing I'd say, play from Cooper Adlers. He did a fantastic job, Cooper did, and playing defense. You saw the impact he had, even the shots that broke through. Cooper was able to do a fantastic job at stopping those shots. Also, another thing I have to mention is the time of possession. And that kind of factors in a lot of things. That factors in the face-offs, the ground balls, the tosses that go out of bounds, but there's always a player for Chapman that's closest to the ball that keeps the possessions going. They ran down those full 80-second clocks. The Chapman Panthers won the time of possession. They controlled the game. They kept it at their pace, their rhythm.
And that's definitely something to keep an eye on there. But if you think about this, the multiple players with hat tricks, we had Worth, we had McDonald, and we had even more than just that everyone was getting in on the scoring, as we have the highlights here. And Morissette easily able to get that goal just with his
Yeah,
elite
speaking of him,
speed
right
going
there.
right by another player with a hat trick. And look at this defense there by Bollinger, able to dive
That's
and be
not
the
just-
closest to the sideline.
That's not just defense. Look at that goalie coming out to win the possession back for the Panthers. That's the time of possession battle that the Panthers won so easily.
And then Vorman just able to not get that one into the goal with Rostad, making an amazing save, and that shot had a lot of velocity on it.
This was the story of the game. Look at the speed on the wraparound. He used a little bit of the screen there, right, to get around the defender, took it himself, put himself in great positions to score. And that's the biggest thing for the Panthers. They were able to put great hesitation moves, slip around, score. And this, look at the concentration from Bollinger right there. You see that shot that is so hard to track at that speed on an open shot in a lane like that. What a game he had.
And that was another one of worst not goals as Rostad again barely able to save. Now when you think they're going in, and Rostad a couple of times was able to get. And look at that juke right
talk
there
about that
by
one-stop
Morissette.
move.
Able to pass that out to Vorman for his second goal. As many players as well for the Panthers had multiple goals in this one.
There's your story, a little bit of like the hesitation moves, and that's a little bit of what, see, they're trying to figure out. Minnesota was trying to do the same thing, but when you got a goalie like Bollinger who's able to track the ball, Bollinger right there was seeing the game a little bit slower than the rest of the team out there from Minnesota, right? The ball looked like it was coming at him a little bit slower, like he was able to react to it better. He had a bit of a sixth sense out there on defense, and that came true tonight as Minnesota able to get a good goal at the end. And that's the thing for Minnesota, those last few goals. Hang your hat on that, you know? Go home, you know, it was a rough game. It really was. There's not too much to pull from it. But if you're Minnesota, you pull from those moments. Okay, what did we do well in the fourth quarter? How can we build off of that? Because we know who we are. We know how good of a team we are offensively. So if you're Minnesota, try to build off of that. You know, try to keep continuing to see, okay, how can we continue to make our good passing like we did in the fourth quarter? What do we do right here? What do we do right on these possessions? What do we do wrong here? How do we continue to improve? As you see the coach right there hyping up his team, what a great win it is for the Chapman Panthers. A 4-game win streak to start the year. Again, they're nationally ranked. This team knows what they're going for this year. It was a rough loss to end the season last year in the playoffs. They know exactly what their goal is, and every single day they're attacking that goal. Every day at practice, every day in the weights, even on their off days, always trying to study, always trying to prepare for the next game. This team wants it. They're hungry. They feel like it's their time.
And something to keep an eye on, the team they lost to last season, Virginia Tech, #1 in the entire country, and they have them on the schedule later on this year. So we know that rematch is going to be tightly contested, and something to keep an eye on is that the Panthers' next game on Sunday afternoon is against USC. It's in conference. That was something that they can take away from this and move into that game, because we know USC right now in last place, but those conference games, you never know with those heated rivalries.
Trap games. That's a big trap game right there against USC. It's a team, you know, you have the Chapman Panthers who are 4-0. You have USC who's 0-5, right? It seems like the Panthers just can't be stopped. They come off a big win like this. It's a big win right here against, 18 scored. Feels like they can't be stopped at all. But when you got a guy like Jason Bollinger, who's our MVP and who might be on the sideline with Annie right now at the current moment. Let's get down to Annie for that.
So how do you feel, what do you feel was your biggest strength in that game?
Biggest strength, definitely just the team defense. We had a plan going in. We knew what kind of looks and sets we were expecting, and we saw exactly that. So we had our plan going in, and we executed it tonight. So.
Well, you're the MVP. What do you think your strength was personally?
Personally, I think my play outside of the goal, helping with the clears, helping with the ground balls whenever we got a chance. Saves are kind of expected as a goalie, so everything else I can do is helpful.
And was there any difference between how you approached the game at the beginning versus how you approached the game at the end?
No, there was no difference really. We went in just wanting. We wanted the shutout for the first half. That was our main goal. So you just kept the intensity throughout the game for that.
Well, you were so close to that shutout, but great job, MVP Jason here, goalie. Awesome saves all throughout the whole game. Thank you so much. Back up to the booth.
And I love what Jason said there, because that really was a big element of his game, moving outside the goal, getting those clears, being able to try to be an extra force to win those ground balls. You saw how many times we mentioned that? Oh, Bullinger's outside the goal right now. What's he doing? And you see him, he's fighting for the ground balls. He's helping out his teammates. But then even when he's outside the goal, he resets so quickly. He gets back in position. He stands right in front. He's a fantastic job in positioning, knowledge of the game, awareness of the field. That's really what helps him. And again, we're talking about this game against USC, and I mentioned when you got a guy like Bullinger, he's going to be a key factor against USC here to try to demoralize their offense. It's going to feel like, man, we just can't do nothing right now. We can't get past this guy. It's because you got a guy like Jason Bullinger right there.
And something to keep an eye on, too. In that interview, he said saves are expected as a goalie.
And
that shows a lot about his mentality, as you just mentioned there, is he knows that he has to be outside of the goal at certain times. And a way that you can help this team as well is through a little fundraiser that we are having here at Chapman University.
Yeah, so just like how Jason Bullinger is helping out the Chapman Panthers win these games, you can help out this Chapman Panthers lacrosse team because this is a self-funded club team. They're not getting paid by the school or nothing. This is their own players, the families themselves who are helping. So if you feel like you support this team, if you watch this team every single day and you feel like, you know what, I want to give a little bit of my support, look at the QR code down below, click it, try to donate as much as you can or as much as you're willing to at least. Any donations do help to this team. It allows them for travel, allows for their food, their expenses, the equipment, everything. It helps this team succeed. And this is a team, again, who's looking to go for the championship this year. They're going to have to travel a lot, so any donations do help.
Exactly. If you want to be a part of a team that could potentially win a national championship at the Division I level, please consider donating because these players put on an amazing show every single game, and we hope that we put on an amazing show for you at home. That's all we have here tonight for the Chapman Panthers men's lacrosse versus the Minnesota Gophers. We won this one 18-3. Stay tuned all weekend for the CSBN broadcast. We got baseball tier 3 and 4, but we have lacrosse tier 1. Tomorrow we got women's lacrosse, Sunday men's lacrosse against USC. We hope you tune into all those and make sure to follow our social medias at CSBN Live on Instagram and on our new TikTok that we've really been trying to push. We thank you all for watching. I've been Joshua Feinrich along with Alejandro Flores. We hope you have the great rest of your night and an amazing weekend.
Deucios.